The Western Pioneers here at Handel Stadium on the campus of Western High School in beautiful Anaheim, California. This is always a special game whenever these two teams meet up, as they're only about a mile and a half away from each other. They share a home stadium, and many of these players on both squads grew up together. In addition, the coaching staffs know each other well. Also, as Western head coach Danny Davidson was once a broadcaster for the Cypress Centurions. And his son, Jeremy Davidson, the Western defensive coordinator, actually played at Cypress High School. Both teams come into this game with a 1-1 record. So what else can you tell us about tonight's matchup, Coach Padios?
Well, it's a rivalry in the truest sense of the word. I mean, Kennedy has always been Cypress's natural rival, but when you're talking about two schools that are a block and a half away, it doesn't get any more close than that. These players competed against each other growing up. They competed with one another. It's a non-league game, but it's very important to both these teams because this is bragging rights in the truest sense.
Yeah, as I said, there's a very close proximity to these schools, and these kids all grew up together. Two very talented football teams here tonight. Two well-coached teams, a lot of talent on the field. This should be very entertaining. Look forward to a great game tonight, Coach. Looks like we got the kickoff team and the kickoff receiving team on the field. Looks like Western's going to receive.
And I think one of the keys for tonight's game, if you're Western, is keep it close. It doesn't matter if it's high scoring or low scoring. Is the prohibitive underdog. If you can get into halftime within a touchdown, tied, or even leading, then it's going to put a lot of pressure on Cypress in the second half. So if you're Western, just keep the game close early on and then take your chances in the second half.
Yeah, Western typically known for a high-paced, fast-tempo offense, so it'll be interesting to see what they come out in tonight.
Well, both of these teams run a spread set, which means you're going to see 3 receivers, 4 receivers. You'll even see 5 receivers if they go empty, which means there's going to be a lot of one-on-one matchups, which creates a lot of big scoring opportunities for both teams.
Miles Weber with the kickoff for Cypress. Drew Faulkner on the return for Western. Takes it out to the 20, cuts back. Met by a host of Centurions. Western's going to start at about their own 15, first and 10. Western.
Yeah, Drew Faulkner, he's the key to the Western offense. Everything goes for him. He leads the team in receiving yards. He leads the team in receptions. And believe it or not, he leads the team in sacks. Coach Davidson's not afraid to send the corner blitz from time to time. So Cypress is going to have to key on Faulkner tonight because he is no doubt their go-to player.
First snap by Western. Nice gain. Pickup of about 7 or 8 for the Pioneers.
And that's a simple pitch and catch. Again, you're going to spread the defense out with these 4 receiver sets. And when you get these one-on-one matchups, it's much easier for the quarterback to play catch with his outstanding speedy receivers.
Western 2x2 set to the right boundary, Cypress sideline. Some motion. Draw play, inside trap. Oh, nice run for the first down. Looks like that was number 28, Sean Dean on the carry. First down for the Pioneers. Advancing the ball to their own 35-yard line.
And I like what Western's doing here. They've opened the game up with the no-huddle offense, keeping the Cypress defense on their heels.
Little toss screen to the running back and a 4x0 set for Western. That's about as spread as you can get there, Coach.
Yeah, and I like the play selection so far by Coach Davidson. Anthony Luna's only a sophomore, so give him some easy passes early on to build that confidence. And as the more the game progresses, the more confident he'll get. He'll start challenging Cypress downfield.
Little draw up the middle. Western gets to the 50-yard line. They are matriculating the ball nicely so far, Coach.
You know, and even though Western is a spread team, they will run the ball in between the tackles. Chris Lozano is their leading runner this year, followed by Michael Alatorre. And again, if they can get that ground game going early on, it's really going to open up the passing game.
Motion, complete pass to Michael Alatorre. It looks like he's going to have almost enough for a first down. We'll see what the referees say here. Maybe a little short. Looks like it's going to be spotted at about the 46 of Cypress. However, we do have a hold on the play against Western, so we're going to bring it all back.
Boy, and that's a tough break for Western. They had a nice little drive going. They've got some rhythm. They're running that no-huddle offense, and nothing worse than a penalty to slow you down.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for Coach Davidson, especially with all the momentum they have right now. So that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 12 for the Pioneers at their own 43-yard line. Little in and out pattern there by Western. Incomplete, going to bring on 3rd down and 12. Let's see what Coach Crooks has dialed up here, Coach. First big 3rd down of the night for the Centurions.
Yeah, and that ball was intended for Michael Sutton-Shy, who's actually the leading target on the Western offense. Faulkner gets all the attention, but he's double-teamed so much that creates a lot of one-on-one situations with Sutton-Shy. And right there, he was open, but the quarterback was just a little bit far out in front with his pass.
High-powered offense for the Pioneers. 3rd down, 12. Snap. Devin Cobb on coverage, incomplete, going to bring up 4th down and 12 for the Pioneers. Punt team is yet to take the field.
And that time, Coach Crooks blitzed with Nate Schneider, the outside linebacker, and although he didn't sack Luna, he put enough pressure on him to create an errant pass.
Western is going for it on 4th and 12, Coach.
I wouldn't be surprised if they lined up in shotgun and then just kicked it.
And here comes the punt team now. I think they wanted to take a look at what Coach Crooks' defense was doing, and they erred on the side of caution there. Punt is away to the right hash. Neil Jansen return, has a little seam up the sideline, stays in bounds. Nicely done from Neil Jansen and the Centurions. Going to be 1st and 10, Centurions on the Western 39.
You know, Neil Jansen's a very dangerous running back, and we talk about him a lot in the backfield, but he's equally as dangerous on not only kickoff returns, but punt returns as well. And you got a little sample of his speed on that last play.
Highly gifted athlete. He recently received a full ride scholarship to play baseball at San Jose State University. Coach Weber loves having him in the outfield.
Really, he's going to be playing for Brent Brennan, my old teammate at UCLA.
He will be a Spartan.
Good for Neil.
1st down actually on the 40 of Western for Cypress. To the left hash. 3-by-1 formation for the Centurions. Eldridge in the shotgun formation. Motion, we got Morrell coming to our side. Over the middle, a little high, intended for Devin Cobb. Going to bring up 2nd and 10 from the Western 40.
And Eldridge had Devin Cobb on the skinny post. The pass was just a little bit off, but you know, early on in these big rivalry games, nerves are high, tension and whatnot, so Eldridge just got to settle down and he'll start making those throws.
I know this game means a lot to both of these teams. It's a border war, and as we said in the pregame, it means a lot to both these kids because they grew up together. Again, 3-by-1 formation for the Centurions, left hash. Eldridge drops back to throw, rolls out right. As a receiver open, it's Matthew Morrell, who steps out of bounds at about the 20 of Western. Good for a 20-yard pickup and a 1st down for the Centurions.
And Eldridge did a really nice job getting outside the pocket, being patient as the play developed. Matt Morrell ultimately got open on the out route. That was a nice pitch and catch by the quarterback and receiver.
One of the most dynamic quarterback-receiver combinations in all of Orange County. Dylan Eldridge to Matthew Morrell. Get used to hearing that a lot, folks. 2-by-2 formation for the Centurions on the right hash. Motion by Cobb, little pass to Monteleone. Oh, excuse me, Morrell again. And Morrell's going to get down to the 8 of Western.
You know, and at the end of the day, you can scheme an X and O's, but it ultimately comes down to tackling. Western actually had the right call and read the play, but the defender was unable to bring down the receiver, which turned what should have been a loss into a 1st down for Cypress.
The sticks are down, bringing up first and goal from the 9 of Western.
Play the goal line. Tell them catch technique. Catch technique.
Motion fake handoff. Pass complete to Cobb. Wrapped up by a host of Pioneers at about the 6-yard line. Gain of 3 for the Centurions.
And Feldy, he loves to throw the ball. This is, I think, their 5th straight play where they put the ball in the air. And when you got a quarterback like Eldridge, when you have the receivers he has, I understand why. You know, you talk about Dylan Eldridge this year, his stats. How about this? 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 581 yards in 2 games.
That's the way you want to start a season. Jansen in motion. In the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Eldridge to Monteleone. 6-0 Centurions.
And now you can make that 10 touchdowns and no interceptions. Simple pitch and catch.
Cypress PAT team onto the field. Miles Weber to attempt the extra point. Miles, of course, the son of legendary Cypress High School baseball coach John Weber.
Who won a national championship a couple years in baseball.
Also National Coach of the Year. The attempt by Weber, up, wide to the right. Score remains 6-0 Cypress with 7:43 left in the first quarter.
You know, it's interesting when people talk about football and they break it down and the focus seems to be on offense and defense, but you got to remember special teams is 1/3 of the game, and as we saw in the first week against Foothold, those PATs or the missed ones added up, and you know, it's early on, but you'd hate to see a situation where a missed PAT comes back to haunt you later in the game.
Hopefully that won't be the case. So while we have a moment, let's start out with our shout-outs for the night. As usual, we'd like to say hello to our beloved and departed friend, JD DeFazio, who's up in heaven watching the game. We love you, JD. I know you're with us right now, and I know you're smiling upon us all, and the Centurions love you, JD.
He's having a nice beverage, watching the game, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, the players are wearing 56 tonight on their helmets. They got the 56 stickers out, which of course is in honor of JD. That was his number when he played back in high school.
JD played linebacker for the Centurions, class of 80 graduate, and yes, like Coach Patio said, the Centurions are honoring his memory by wearing their helmet adorned with the number 56 for the entire season. Also like to say hello to JD's wife, Stacia. Cypress on the field to kick off. Miles Weber gets his troops in order. Oh, onside attempt. Ball is loose. Western recovers on their own 45.
Boy, whenever you play against Rick Feldman, you have to spend a lot of times on special teams. He will fake the punts. He will onside kick. He will go for 2. In fact, they went for 2 last week to win the game against number 7 ranked San Juan Hills. So special teams, like I was just saying a moment ago, is a big part of the game, and we've already seen it be a factor here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it looks as if Coach Feldman was trying to send an early message there. Western lined up, 4 in the backfield. Almost a jumbo type formation.
You know, when we were watching film of Western this week, the both of us, and this is the first time they've run any kind of formation close to that. You know, they're a spread team, and to have 3 backs in the backfield with the quarterback running it, that's a new wrinkle, and maybe they're trying to take advantage of Cypress by running in between the tackles to catch them off guard.
Yeah, Coach Davidson is a great game planner, and I think he realizes that, you know, he might have to pull out some additional stops this week. So back to a spread formation for Western, 3-by-1. Ball complete.
getting back to Coach Davidson, he started his coaching career at Cypress back in 1990 under the legendary Coach Selby. Of course, he's been all over the district. He's been at Loera, Cypress. He's obviously now at Western, but he's had a nice career, so he's pretty much seen it all. So when it comes to game planning, he's going to come up with something creative that's going to give his team the best chance to win.
And believe it or not, he is a class of 87 Kennedy grad. Nice completion for Western. They are moving the ball on Cypress here. That pass is complete to TJ Mitchell. First down for the Pioneers. They are on the Centurion 37 with 6:08 left in the first quarter.
TJ Mitchell, the biggest receiver on the team at 6'3", 225. He's actually a tight end. He's got 11 receptions on the year, and he's actually more dangerous as a run blocker.
Western looking deep. Oh, we have some laundry on the field. Looks like it's going to be a pass interference.
That's the matchup.
Apparently impeded the progress of the receiver. Looks like the flag is going to be on Devin Cobb.
And that's the matchup Western wants to get. Anytime they can get Faulkner lined up in a one-on-one situation, regardless of who it's against, if they can get him one-on-one, they're going to take a shot downfield because he is by far their fastest and most explosive receiver.
He is very gifted.
So Coach Davidson's got the challenge of creating different formations and motions to get him in a one-on-one situation, which will allow him to take those plays down the field.
Referees are sorting this out. And
it's actually going to go against the offense, it looks like.
They're calling offensive pass interference. Devin Cobb defended that well. Not sure if Coach Davidson agrees with that call, but that's the call. 3-by-1 formation for Western. Sprint left. Ooh, almost a spectacular catch. Pretty well defended there by Tomas Ramirez, though.
Yeah, and Anthony Luna had gotten outside the tackle box, the defensive end decided to take an inside route. He had a lot of green to run had he decided to keep the ball. Ended up throwing it incomplete, but that's one of those things as a young quarterback, you got to weigh the risk-reward. In that case, you're probably better off just keeping the ball and getting what you can get.
And screen pass came up incomplete there for Western.
In that middle screen they ran, to play they had a lot of success with in week 1 against Chino. They ran it 3 times, once for a touchdown, the other time for 4 yards plus. So that's a play that Western likes to run. It's certainly a play that Cypress has scouted out. So we'll see if they try to go back that a little bit later in the game.
3rd down and 25 for the Pioneers on their own 48-yard line.
What? Right here.
Luna back to throw. Incomplete.
Where's the motion?
And it's tough when you get a holding penalty on 1st down and back yourself up. 3rd and 25. That's a tough play to pick up a 1st down. Your options are limited. And, of course, not getting the 1st down, Western's going to have to punt the ball away. Back to Cypress.
Western on the field to punt. Neil Johnson back to the return. Oh, ball takes a Western bounce. Oh boy. Western's going to be happy with that as they down the ball at about the Cypress 3, it looks like. Right exactly where the extra point hash mark is.
Lots of times we rate punt returners on the yards they get on the return, but another factor that people don't really mention that often is their ability to just field the ball. Because the ball got away from the return man, it went another 15 yards and gave Western outstanding field position. So part of being a punt returner is not just fielding it and getting return yardage, but preventing it from bouncing and picking up yards for your opponent.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Thompson and Coach Doyle, who coach special teams, will kind of advise Neil Jansen of that for the next time. So 1st and 10 Cypress from their own 3-yard line. Eldridge in the end zone. Takes a snap. Drops back. Hits Neil Jansen on a little inside route. Jansen picks up about 8 yards. Gets the Centurions out of their own end zone.
And how about this for a stat? 8 plays, 8 passes.
Wow.
You know, ironically, we had talked to Coach Feldman this week, and he said he really wanted to get back to running the ball. They were not very successful in their first game. Last week they did a much better job, especially attacking the perimeter against San Juan Hills. So he was saying this week at practice they really want to try to establish their game in between the tackles to show that threat as well, something they really haven't done up until this point in the season.
Looks like the play was negated. Half the distance to the goal line, a hold on the play. 1st and 11 Centurions. Eldridge back to throw. Hits Muhammad Hussein over the middle. The tight end just into the game.
Of course, Muhammad Hussein, who's also a two-way player, plays outside linebacker, had that monster game week 1 against Foothill. Now getting some action in on the other side of the ball, receiving.
He's a very gifted linebacker, and he's really coming into his own as a tight end as well. 2nd down and 3 for the Centurions, 3-by-1 formation. Eldridge with the handoff, Tomas Ramirez. Rumbles forward, 1st down Centurions.
And that's Cypress's first run of the night, and like Coach Feldman said, it was between the tackles. Something he wants to establish. Anytime you can run the ball for a 1st down, it gives you such a psychological boost for not only your offense, but psychologically for the defense. It's very demoralizing when a team can run on you, especially if they can do it consistently.
1st and 10 Cypress from their own 18-yard line. Eldridge gives a handoff. Looks like Tomas Ramirez again. Gonna pick up a gain of about 4. Bring up 2nd and 6 for the Centurions. 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 6-0 Cypress.
And as much as Cypress likes to throw the ball, they do have depth at running back. They have Neil Jansen, Nate Schneider on that last play, Tomas Ramirez, who's also a cornerback. Again, another two-way player. He's more of their speedy back type.
Two-by-two formation for the Centurions. Eldridge drops back. Oh, looks like we had a miscommunication there. He was looking for Morrell to run a deep route, and Matthew kind of broke it off underneath.
Yeah, and Coach Davidson set a blitz from his outside linebacker, number 81, Emmanuel Mata, and he was real close to laying a hit on Dylan Eldridge, but I think that forced rush caused the errant pass.
Mata seems like he's a very talented edge blitzer. Eldridge gets a play from Coach Feldman. Third down and 5 for the Centurions. Bunch formation. Oh, we got some trickeration here. We got Morrell running down the field, wide open. Eldridge connects with him. Morrell breaks the tackle. It's a foot race now. Can Morrell outrun the Western defense? He can. Touchdown, Centurions. Eldridge to Morrell. Doesn't get any sweeter than that, Coach Claudius.
The reverse pass, and it seems like Cypress runs it every week, but whenever Coach Feldman dials it up, the teams are always caught off guard, and it's always a big play for Cypress. You can almost guarantee you're going to see that at least once or twice a game whenever you play Cypress, and yet it's always wide open.
78 yards, Eldridge to Morrell. As we said before, the dynamic duo, one of the most exciting quarterback-receiver combinations in all of Orange County. Miles Weber on for the extra point.
And again, I hope I'm not jinxing Dylan Eldridge, but now we've got 11 touchdowns and no interceptions in this 2021 season.
Impressive. Centurions fake. Blake Kuzman rolls to his left, looking for the two-point conversion. Tipped away by Western. Nicely defended by the Pioneers. 3:22 left in the first quarter. Cypress 12, Western 0.
and I'm not so sure on that PAT if that wasn't just an errant snap that they turned into a 2-point play by default. Whenever there is a bad snap, of course, the up back's going to roll out and try to hit his two wing backs. And again, special teams is one of those things for Cypress. If there is an Achilles heels, it's their PAT.
Yeah, that looks like that might have been a busted play. Cusimano did the best he could to get the ball away, and he was able to. But as I said, Western did a great job of defending that.
Of course, Blake Cusimano, the winningest quarterback in freshman football history at Cypress, a perfect 10-0. I don't know any other freshman quarterbacks at Cypress that went 10-0, so Blake's got his name in the record book, and it can never be broken. All someone can ever hope to do is tie him, unless they start bowl games.
Team. How does that rank as on teams you coached, Coach Barrios?
Blake's team, Rapetti's team that went 9-1, would had Rios on it and some other studs. Last year's team, we only got to play 5 games, but they're 5-0. I'd take those 3 teams and match them up against anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Cypress freshmen have won 19 games in a row over the last 3 seasons. Cypress kickoff team on the field for the 3rd time this evening. Miles Weber to kick off. Going to be fielded at about the 11 by Drew Faulkner. Little seam, nice return by Faulkner. Gets up to about the 28 of Cypress, where Western will take over with 3:14 left in the first quarter.
And I'm going to give Blake one more shout out. His freshman year, in addition to being 10-0 as a starter, threw for 1,700 yards. And as a freshman quarterback, that's not easy.
That is impressive indeed.
Although when you
shout out to Blake's dad, who is a member of the Cypress High School Booster Club, does a great job organizing events and bringing in revenue for all the athletic programs in Cypress High School. So thank you very much, Mr. Cusimano. Western on the field in a bunch formation. Taking their time. Motion fake handoff. Little quick slip screen. And the Centurions had it diagnosed. Great call there by Coach Crooks.
And this is a critical time for Western and their offense. We talked early on in the game, whenever you're a decided underdog, you want to keep pace. The last thing they want to have happen is Cypress jump on them like they have and continue to extend that lead. So Western, at the very least, has got to get some first downs, move the ball. Certainly they'd like to get a score, but if they at least can get a couple downs and regain field position, that might help.
Little out route. Quick speed out for the Pioneers. Looks like he's going to be complete. So they move the ball. Going to bring up 3rd down and 5. Big 3rd down for both teams here. Pump fake, Western throw, has a receiver open. Oh my goodness. Foot race. Ran past the corner, and that's going to be completed. That's going to be a huge gain for Western. About 60 yards on the completion.
And Michael Sutton-Shy, even though Faulkner is the leader in receptions and yards, they throw the ball more to Sutton-Shy than any other player. And there was a flag on the play. It'll be interesting to see what the call is, but sometimes when receivers that wide open, it might be offensive, but it looks like the way the huddles are moving, it's going to go against Cypress, so the play will stand.
Michael Sutton-Shaw ran a great route there, and Anthony Luna just hit him with a perfect strike. If the play stands, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Pioneers at the Cypress 11. And it looks as though it's going to stand. Oh, we have some additional yardage tacked on at the end of the play. So it's going to bring 1st and goal from the Cypress 6 for the Western Pioneers.
Well, we just talked about what an important drive this is for Western, and they're answering in a big-time way. The key now is to just finish the drive and get back in this.
2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 12-0 Cypress. Ref winds the clock. Luna back to pass, a little underthrown. Looks like the intended receiver there was Sean Dean. Gonna bring up 2nd and goal for the Pioneers.
And you got to think 4-down territory in this case, because the last thing you want to do is trade field goals for touchdowns. So you figure Western's got 3 plays to get in.
There we go.
And there it is. The man I just mentioned, Sean Dean, takes the handoff, runs right up the middle. Great blocking job by the Western O-line there, like the parting of the Red Sea.
That was the hole you and I might have been able to get through. That was a great job by the offensive line. Getting off the ball, they were low. They were pushing those defenders back, and just like that, Western's back in the ball game.
Back in the game. Big hand to the Western O-line. Those big fellas up there did a great job. PAT attempt for Western. Kick is up. And it is good. With 1 minute to go, 1 minute and 50 seconds to go in the first quarter, it is Cypress 12, Western 7.
You know, you talk about the job that Dan Davidson did since getting to Western High School. I mean, he got them their first half championship back in 2018 with a team that was heavy with sophomores. The following year, they went 9-1, had a heartbreaking loss in the first round of the playoffs. But then last year, when all those players were seniors, they went 5-0. And if you like stats, check this one out. They outscored their opponents 256-7.
That is
And they only got to play 5 games. I talked to Coach Davidson about that early in the week, and he says, you know, it is what it is. I can't go back. But in terms of talent, he felt that was one of the best teams he ever coached. So unfortunately, because we all only got to play 5 games, we never got to see just how good they could have been.
Of course, Western's had some great teams over the year. The late, great Coach Jim Howell, who was a mainstay here, and his son Toby, of course, who was a great head coach.
Well, here's some trivia, and I'll challenge anybody out there listening to the game. They've had 3 coaches since 1979. Jim Howell, Toby Howell, and now Dan Davidson. Find me a team in Orange County that's had more than 3 coaches since 1979, or less than 3 coaches, I'm sorry.
That's what you call stability. Very reminiscent of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. I mean, thinking out loud, maybe modern day, because Rollinson's been there so long. I don't know who preceded him, but can you think of any teams in Orange County that have had 3 or less coaches since 1979?
No, you'd be hard-pressed to find a school like that.
Well,
Kickoff
Blazer, if
from
you're out there
Western.
listening, shoot me a text. He's kind of the trivia guy.
Huge kick by Western, fielded by Cypress at their own 35, where they'll take over. 1st and 10, 1:50 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah. So the Western offense did your job. Now it's up to the defense.
Eldridge takes the snaps, draw play up the middle. Tomas Ramirez cuts some daylight. He's into the secondary. Big run, going to be brought down out of bounds at about the Western 20. That's going to be good for a 1st and 10 and a gain of 45 yards.
Yeah, and that's that speed that Tomas brings to the backfield. And again, Feldy told us this week he wants to really focus on running the ball in between the tackles, and is paying dividends so far.
We'd also like to give a big thanks and a shout out to our spotter up here this evening, Coach Chris Watkins, who's helping us with the broadcast.
He's the freshman head coach. He's got the team off to a 2-0 start this year. Won 19 straight going back the last 3 seasons.
19 in a row for Coach Watkins. Woo! Cypress, 1st and 10. Western showing blitz. Eldridge takes another handoff to Tomas Ramirez. Tomas is really running hard tonight, Coach, getting some extra yardage.
Well, that's the key. When you think about him, he's more of a speed back, but he can break tackles, and the key really to any good running back is getting past that initial line of scrimmage. And if you can break tackles and get to that second level, that's when those speed backs become really dangerous.
Clock ticking away, 1:05 left in the first quarter. Bringing up 2nd down and 7 for the Centurions. Eldridge takes the snap.
Come back. Come back. Go.
Oh, looks like we had maybe some contact there. Was that ball caught anyway? It was. So, a PI flag is still on Matthew Morrell, and he says, I don't care. I'm going to catch the ball anyway. Another touchdown, Eldridge to Morrell. Can you believe this, Coach Padios?
Well, we're up to 12 touchdowns and no interceptions and counting.
I mean, what do you do if you're Western? That's going to be so disheartening.
Well, look, Morrell's an outstanding talent, and yeah, it's a tough situation. If you double up in terms of covering him, it's going to let other guys be wide open. I don't know. Whenever you got a mismatch like that, it's just one of those things you got to have your athletes step up. But it looks like it might be coming back, so hold everything.
Mind. The points have been put on the board, and now it has been taken down. Referees call pass interference Western and pass interference Cypress, offsetting.
Well, that's one thing you do, draw penalties.
So apparently the ref's interpretation was that Mr. Morrell also engaged in some contact that he perhaps shouldn't have.
Well, that's one of those deals where you have the receiver in the corner, they're jockeying for position downfield, and they're both kind of bumping one another. I'm okay with calls like that. I hate to see somebody get bailed out when really both of the players are being physical, and it is what it is, and you got to live with it.
It's almost like a warning to both guys. Hey, knock it off. 2nd and 7 for the Centurions. Low snap to Eldridge. Does a great job fielding. It's going to Morrell again. Morrell went up high, got the ball, and that's what he does.
Well, that time, Western had the right coverage. They had a safety over the top, and it was the strong safety, Oscar Howard. But he's got to recognize that and get over quicker. They were pressing below with safety help over the top, but the safety didn't get in overtime, which allowed Cypress to get the reception and set up a 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
It is tough to defend Morrell on any route, but a slant in particular.
Well, if you're going to double him, that's fine, but you got to cover, and you still have to execute the defense.
Clock winding down, 1st and goal for the Centurions at the Western 3. 20 seconds in the first quarter. Eldridge to Ramirez, and the signal is on the field. Cypress players lobbying, and the referees do not agree. It's going to end the first quarter with the Centurions on about the 6-inch yard line. We'll flip the field. End of 1 quarter. Cypress 12, Western 0. I'm sorry, Western 7. Hey, well, we got to say we want to give a shout out to our old friend and Cypress alum and Cypress legend, Jeff Hall. Jeff Hall, the mayor of Garden Grove, out there listening tonight. Hope all's good with you, Halsey. Hope to see you soon, buddy.
And hopefully he'll be at the UCLA game tomorrow watching his Bruins take on LSU.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Coach.
Come on, Halsey, give me an A-clap.
Halsey might have been a fan of the other Los Angeles team.
Long Beach State does not have a football team. How many times do I have to tell you that?
Oh, that's great, Coach.
You know, we were talking about rivalries earlier, and Dan Davidson, here's a stat for you. For 16 straight years, he's had a kid that's been at Cypress in one form or the other. And you think about that, his boys, his daughter, and 16 years, 16 open houses. And like, at what point does he stop going to those? Because that's a lot of back-to-school nights or whatever you want to call it.
And that's remarkable. And as we talked about earlier, he's basically an Anaheim Union High School District lifer, having graduated Kennedy himself and coaching and teaching at Loera and Western forever. He is a true lifer.
And again, he was the original voice of Cypress football. Him and Ken Piquel. Ken, of course, has gone on to Los Alamitos, follow Coach Fenton, but let's stop while we run the play.
Cobb motion, fake handoff, goes to Ramirez. Touchdown, Tomas Ramirez and the Centurions. Taking the score up to 18-7 with 11:58 left in the second quarter. Nice methodical drive for the Centurions, hitting pay dirt just what Coach Feldman wanted.
And it's good to see Cypress get that ground game going, because as they progress the season, if they want to challenge for a league title, if they want to progress in CIF, they're going to have to be able to run that ball and at the very least show it as a threat to their opponents so they can open up their passing game a bit more. But getting back to Dan Davidson, yeah, he was the original voice. In fact, one of the greatest moments in Cypress history was when they won that CIF championship. Him and Bick were on the call that if you watch it on YouTube still, you get chills. If you're a Cypress fan.
December 7th, 2007. Miles Weber for the extra point. It is up, it is good, and the Centurions build their lead to 19-7 with 11:58 in the second quarter. Hey, guess who's here again tonight, Coach?
Who do we have?
Eric Morrell with his cousins from Oregon, Tim and Andrea, here to watch Matthew play. And of course, we got to say hi to Aunt Betty up in Ashland, Oregon, and cousin Jerian. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast tonight.
They got Valencia.
and all the great things that Matthew's doing on the field. And obviously, Eric's a proud papa, and he's here tonight watching the game with Tim and Andrea, who are visiting from Oregon. Hope they're having a nice vacation here in Southern California. And I hope.
So we got some answers flowing in from our trivia question tonight. What high school in Southern California has had it no more than 2 head coaches since 1980? I don't have the answer, but I've got a couple modern days, and then Valencia, of course. Marujo was there forever. He was there when we were around, so they might have only had one. So he might have the record for tenure for Orange County coaches at one school.
Mike Marujo was there. Wow, he was there a long time.
Won a couple CF titles. He had a heck of a run, too, as a coach.
Valencia has a really good program. Of course, they're in the Empire League with us, so we see them every year. But, you got to have great respect for that program that Coach Marujo built. Valencia always plays with class, and they have a great program over there.
Well, we know what's great about Valencia. They still run the same offense and the same defense since 1970-something. They run that 50 front, and they run a pro-style offense. They are old school.
And it works for them. Miles Weber on for the kickoff. Kicks the ball towards the sideline. Looks like it's going to go out of bounds, which is going to draw some laundry from the referee. If Western accepts, they will start on their own 35.
Now, I'm a little surprised Coach Davidson didn't back Cypress up and make him kick again. When you have a playmaker like Drew Faulkner, this game could very easily be decided by special teams. Give him another opportunity to make a big play, but regardless, you're still going to get good field position.
First and 10, Western from their own 35. Bunch formation to the right, doubles to the left. Motion, Luna takes a snap. Hits Faulkner in the flat. Faulkner creating some space. Gets a couple of yards before he's forced out of bounds by Trevor Monteleone and Tomas Ramirez of the Centurions.
In that time, Coach Davidson motioned Faulkner across the formation to get a one-on-one situation in the backfield. Only picked up about 4 yards, but again, they're trying to create formations and motions to allow Faulkner to get into those one-on-one situations.
Looks like Western almost caught Cypress not ready, and they did. It's going to be good for a first down. You can see the Cypress secondary kind of walking around as the snap happened.
Yeah, Coach Davidson started the game with the no-huddle offense, and it looks like he's going to get back to that. It actually paid off early on. They had that unfortunate penalty, but they had a rhythm going on in the first drive of the first quarter, and it looks like they are going to get back to no-huddle.
First down, TJ Mitchell for the Pioneers. Dangerous pass there intended for Faulkner, but Luna overthrew him a little bit to the Western sideline. Going to bring up second down and 10 for the Pioneers.
And anytime you throw a quick hitch or a rocket screen, it's a simple throw and catch. The quarterback's just got to settle down and play catch with his receiver.
Handoff for Western.
Rocco Burdett on the tackle. Of course, the outstanding sophomore. He was one of our freshman MVPs last year. He was a fullback nose tackle type, and here he is starting on varsity as a sophomore. Great kid, and I love to see players like him make big plays because he's a special
Rocco
kid.
Burdett, very gifted athlete. Snap to Luna over the middle. Oh, my goodness. Almost intercepted. Neil Jansen had it, and he dropped it. Oh.
Boy, Neil Jansen, the free safety, read that like a book. He saw the skinny post, jumped the route, and like you said, hit him in the hands. And maybe that's why he plays more defense than offense, but that could have been a pick six had he kept his feet and held on to the ball.
As fast as Neil Jansen is, he probably could have run to Arizona before anybody touched him. Bringing up fourth down and 8 for the Pioneers. Snap away to Luna. Slant defended nicely by Trevor Monteleone. Broken up. The Centurions will take over on downs with 10:08 left in the second quarter.
That's better. Who was it? Chris. Oh, Chris.
Cypress takes over at the 49 of Western. 1st and 10. 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first quarter. Cypress 19, Western 7.
And now if you're that Western defense, you don't necessarily have your backs to the wall, but this is a critical time of the game. You're down 12. Cypress got great field position. They've got to make a stand here. You can't afford to go down by another touchdown.
Eldridge drops back. Screen. Neil Jansen with some real estate. It looks like he's going to go the distance, coach. Neil Jansen, 49 yards. Eldridge to Jansen on the screen play. 25-7 Cypress. Quick hitter.
We talked about that earlier. When you tackle, you've got to wrap up. Neil Jansen was able to break some tackles. Western was in position to make the play, but they didn't finish. And the biggest thing about football, more than anything else, is your ability to tackle.
Miles Weber on the field for the 4th time already this half to attempt the extra point. Reserve quarterback number 8, Blake Cusimano, counts him up, make sure he's got 11 on the field. Here's the snap. Drop by Cusimano. He scrambles to his left. Looking for somebody to throw to. It looks like we had some flags on the field. Almost intercepted by Western. Incomplete. I think it's null and void anyway due to the flag. And Cypress, you were saying this before, Coach Patios, now only 1 for 4 on the extra point attempts.
Well, even all season long, this has been an issue. At some point at Cypress, you're probably better off just going for 2. You've got an explosive offense, and if you only make it 50% of the time, statistically, that's like making every one of your PATs. They ran it successfully last week to get a win against San Juan Hills, so maybe at some point you just say, we're just going to go for 2 if this continues.
You and I meet with Coach Feldman often, so I'm sure that might be part of our discussion next week.
Well, we can certainly bring that up for our halftime interview or just at practice because, I get it. Every now and then you're going to miss a PAT and special teams. Those things happen, but at some point when it happens time after time, it becomes a pattern. It's becoming a problem. So that's something I think Cypress needs to address because you don't want to lose a championship game late in the year because of something as routine as special teams.
Miles Weber on with the kickoff team for Cypress. 9:55 remaining in the first quarter, 25-7. Cypress in the lead over the Western Pioneers. Weber to kick. Ball over the head of Michael Sutton-Shy. Runs it out. Nicely tackled. Woo. That looked like Rocco Burdett on the tackle.
Yeah, they'll put him on special teams too. I love it. I mean, he's a defensive player. He can play special teams. And
Rocco flying down there.
He's aggressive.
Pins the Pioneers on their own 10-yard line.
One of the challenges at Western, and Coach Davidson had talked about this week, because of their demographics, just the way they're located, they never really have the big numbers. And as a coach, whenever you only have a roster of 30-something kids, depth becomes an issue. You lose kids to grades, you lose them to injuries. That can really deplete your roster quick, and that's something he's have to battle just year after year.
Draw play up the middle. Nice run by Western. That's going to be a first down. Looks like a pickup of 22 for the Pioneers.
And you can see Western has playmakers, and it's just their inability to put together a drive consistently, but they've got the players to make the big plays. So, there's plenty of time to go in this first half. If they can get a score here, give them some confidence.
Luna with the give, handoff. Sean Dean again, slight gain on the play, maybe 1. Actually, no, where the ball spotted, looks like no gain. 2nd and 10, Pioneers. Nathan Schneider showing blitz. Coming up the A-gap. Pass complete. Western did a great job of defending that blitz look there and blocking that. Looks like they got a first down. Gain of 10.
Yeah, that was a really nice grab by the wide receiver. Pass was a little bit behind him, but he used his long reach and extension to pick it up. That, of course, is the tight end, J.J. Mitchell.
Western again going up with a hurry-up offense. Again, nice little pickup, 5 yards for the Pioneers. Second and 5. On their own 49, left hash.
Western's going to continue with the no-huddle look.
Looks like Western got away with one there, Coach. Saw a little motion.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. You cannot go in motion when the ball snapped, and their inside slot receiver was in motion, but I guess the refs either didn't see it or let it go. And fortunately for Western, they were able to pick up a couple yards on that play.
What's the old adage, Coach? Ref didn't see it, it didn't happen.
There you go.
Go. They're not ready. They're not ready.
Third down and 2 for the Pioneers. Wow, Coach Crooks dialed up quite a blitz there. Looks like that was Muhammad Hussein getting in there.
Yeah, and Cypress choreographed that from the start. They blitzed the egg up right where Western was trying to run the ball, and that was the perfect call against that particular play.
If I didn't know any better, it almost looked like Muhammad knew what the play was. Fourth down and 5 for the Pioneers. Are going for it at their own 49-yard line. Luna checks the sideline to see if Coach Davidson's got dialed up. Bit of a chess match going on here, and Western has elected to take their first time out of the half. With 7:21 left in the second quarter, Cypress leads 25-7.
And I like the decision by Coach Davidson. It's kind of a critical point. You don't want to punt away and give Cypress the ball back already up 18, because another score would essentially put this game away. And you almost have to stay aggressive. Of course, the downside is if you don't get it, now Cypress got the ball at the 49 going in, and it's one of those things. What do you do? It's a tough call, but if they want to stay in this game and be competitive, you almost have to go for it, I think.
Hey, Coach, I got to bring up quickly while we have a moment here. One of our dear friends, former coach in Cypress, Mike Jones, passed away last week.
I just heard that.
Way too young, only 57, 58 years old. Dear friend of ours, you and I both coached with him. And,
we coached with him. We coached his kids. He had about 4 boys that went through Cypress. He went to Cypress.
He was a class of 81 graduate from Cypress. Coach Jones, we know you're up there in heaven with JD also, and looking down on us. And we love you, brother, and we miss you. And God bless you. And it was honor and a privilege to have you as a friend and a brother. And we miss you dearly, bro.
Yeah, he was a good guy, and he just like JD, is dearly missed.
Western going forward on 4th and 5, 3-by-1 formation. Referee winds the clock. Luna back to pass. Has a receiver caught. Converted. Broken tackle. Devin Cobb comes in to save the day, but Western's moved the ball to the 29 of Cypress. Great call, Coach Davidson.
Yeah, and I like the mindset. Look, they're not here to compete. They're not here to keep it close. He wants to win this game, and so if you're going to do that, you're going to have to be aggressive. You're going to have to take some chances. And there on 4th and 5, a critical play at a critical point of the game worked out for Western.
Luna back to pass again. Has a lot of pressure.
Boy, and he would have been off to the races. Cypress dials up a blitz against a screen pass, and that's one of those things. If you can get the screen off against a blitz, you're going to make a big play. And you talk about timing. That was potentially a touchdown for Western that just got away.
Yeah, D-line there needs to retrace their steps, don't they, Coach?
Well, yeah, initially you're going to rush the quarterback, and once you recognize screen, you want to retrace your steps and get back to the potential ball receiver, but nonetheless, he would have been off to the races.
3 in the backfield for Western. Handoff up the middle. Nice run, very spirited.
And that's why you work on the sled as an offensive line. That's just their offensive line. Western's getting lower than the Cypress defenders, getting off the ball and getting a push. And if you can do that all the way down the field, why stop?
Exactly. That was Sean Dean again in the carry for the Pioneers. Picked up a gain of 6. Going to bring up 3rd and 3 for the Pioneers. Ball located on the Cypress 24-yard line. Luna again to throw a little slip screen. And we're going to have another first down for Western.
And Drew Faulkner on the quick screen caught the ball, shook a tackle, and picked up a first down. And again, Western's got a nice drive going here, getting the ball to the receivers and running the ball in between the tackles, and they're really doing a good job mixing it up. Again, this drive was kept alive by a gutsy 4th down call.
Little draw play. Western moving the ball again. Going to be just shy of a first down.
And you're seeing this offensive line of Western really establish itself. That's 9 yards on first down, running in between the tackles. Take that all the way into the end zone.
Draw play, not going to get any real estate at all. Met by a bevy of Centurions there. Got to bring up 3rd down for the the Pioneers. Excuse me.
You know, Coach Feldman was telling us earlier this week in the conference call, everybody talks about Western's playmakers at receiver and their speed and their passing game, but he felt they were equally as dangerous running the ball in between the tackles, and right now on this drive, they've done a pretty good job pounding the rock.
Yeah, Faulkner looks like a pretty solid runner, or Dean, excuse me. A little fade route to the corner of the end zone, defended by Cobb for the Centurions. Incomplete.
Well, now it's decision, and that's decision time again for Coach Davidson. I don't think he wants to settle for a field goal. If I'm him, I'm going to try to finish this drive by going for it.
Three by one set for Western. Luna with the hard count there, trying to draw the Centurions off sides. Timeout Western. Cypress might have gotten away with one there, Coach.
Yeah, there was movement on the defensive line, no doubt about it. I saw the same thing you saw. But I like the call by Davidson. Again, this is a big drive they have. They've got to get back in this ball game, so call a timeout. They tried the long count to get Cypress to jump, and it looks like they did. But again, like you said, if the ref doesn't see it, it's not a penalty.
Timeout on the field with 5:40 in the first half left. Cypress 25, Western 7. Hey, folks, after the game tonight, you want to get a good meal? Why don't you go to Coach's Corner, located at 6038 Ball Road in Buena Park. Phone number is 714-699-1389. The Thompson family are the purveyors of this fine restaurant. Coach Thompson in the field right now coaching. After a Centurion game, go to Coach's Corner, enjoy a great meal. The crew's happy to see you there, and I'd like to say hi to everyone at Coach's Corner watching the game right now. Hope you're having a great time. We'll see you later on tonight.
We'll be there after the game. And here comes Mr. Leptic walking up the stands, the famous math teacher at Cypress High School.
Steve Leptic, beloved math teacher, Cypress High. One of the all-time greats. Snap to Luna for Western. He pressured by Cypress. And they take Luna down, and Mr. Luna had nowhere to go on that. Cypress is going to take over on downs. Another huge 4th down stop. First and 10 Centurions.
Coach Crooks, the defensive coordinator, decided to dial up a blitz, and it was a great call. Luna didn't have anybody open, and it's one of those things, he's better off just throwing it and trying to catch a miracle as opposed to taking that sack, because if you do take a sack, that's a turnover, and it's unfortunate for Western because they had a really good drive, but they just couldn't finish.
That was their best drive of the night. I mean, remember their touchdown was on a big play, so that was their best sustained drive of the evening so far. Cypress taking over on their own 15. 5:29 in the first half remaining. 25-7. Cypress. Snap to Eldridge. Bobbles it a little bit. Looking deep. Has Trevor Monteleone down the field. Trevor Monteleone was open, but a little overthrown by Eldridge.
Boy, when you talk about an arm, he launched that ball 60 yards, and now it's a tight spiral. He's just got to settle down a little bit, but certainly Eldridge has shown he's got the arm strength.
Just a little more touch on that one, and that's 6 for the Centurions.
And Trevor had a step on the defender, so it didn't have to be a perfect pass. And whenever you got a wide receiver open like that, again, it's not so much about the perfect pass, it's just getting it close enough to the target that you can make a play, because Trevor had a step on the defensive back.
2nd and 10, Cypress. Eldridge takes the snap.
He's going out.
Little out route to Devin Cobb. Western had him bobbled up, but Cobb creates a couple yards on the catch. Looks like he's going to get it about 7.
And Devin Cobb just ran a simple flat route, and the defender was nowhere in sight. And for the quarterback, it doesn't get much easier. Just it's playing catch with their wide open receiver. That was a nice executed play by Cypress.
Bring up 3rd down and 2 for the Centurions on their own 24-yard line. Okay, Coach Platios, this is a formation that Coach Feldman told me about earlier this week. They've got actually Morell at the slot receiver, if you can see that. Pass again complete. Devin Cobb once again. Yeah, Coach Feldman told me earlier this week that they were going to put Morell and Monteleone to the same side, have Morell be the slot receiver, Monteleone be the the far out wide receiver, and kind of try to put the Western defense in a bind.
Well, and that's exactly what they did. They ran a bubble route with Morell, which forced that linebacker to jump the route. They're on a slant underneath it, which was wide open. So that's just good coaching by the offensive coordinator, Rick Feldman, getting his personnel in positions that puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
1st and 10 Centurions from the 35. Read option play. Eldridge pulls it and decides to run himself, and Eldridge actually gets some yardage there. Eldridge not known for his running. He's more of a throwing quarterback, but that's a nice little pickup for Dylan.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a pocket passer, but he can run the ball if necessary. I know he likes to sit back and find his receivers downfield, which is the job of a quarterback, but anytime nothing's there, he can take off and go, and he's shown us his ability to run this year. He's certainly shown us his toughness. I go back to that first game where both him and the quarterback from Foothill were just getting blasted all game long and kept getting up. So, with Eldridge, you got an all-around quarterback. He's tough, he's physical, he's got some speed, and he's certainly got the arm.
2nd and 2 Centurions from their own 43. Jansen in motion. Eldridge gives to him, cuts the ball back, 1st down, and then some. Nice run by Neil Jansen.
And now Cypress has got a nice little drive going here with 3:53 to go in the first half. Coach Feldman's in no rush. Just take your time trying to milk that clock and see if you can get a score right before the end of the half.
That makes an offense so much stronger when you got a guy like Morell and even Monteleone to throw to, and then you can just, run for 12 yards on a little give to Jansen.
That's why I think it's so important for Coach Feldman to establish his run game, because we know they can throw the ball, and if you can establish that run game and make that a threat, it really puts a lot of pressure on the opposing defense as to what you're going to defend and how you're going to defend it.
Little confusion on the field for the Centurions. Coach Feldman does not like it. Very animated, gesticulating on the field as he calls a timeout and brings his offense in.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying, but just by the body language, I don't think he's too happy.
You and I have coached with Coach Feldman for many years, and
It's amazing, a lot of these coaches, when you know them in the quote-unquote real world, but their body language, their demeanor, on game night, it's like, you talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and this is a lot of people, not just Coach Feldman. But
Coach, I can probably tell you verbatim right now what Coach Feldman is saying.
Yeah, right. It's but they're into it. It's intense, and you think about these coaches, how much time they put into it, and how much work, all the hours of film, the practice, and you only got a couple hours once a week to show what you've got, to show all the work you put into it. So when things don't work out the way you'd planned, it's frustrating, and sometimes your emotions can get the best of you, but that's just part of the business.
And to say Coach Feldman leads football is an understatement. 3-by-1 formation for the Centurions. Ball in the middle of the field. 1st and 10 on the Western 48. Snap away to Eldridge. Has a lot of time to throw. Nobody open, so he's going to run himself. He's got some room to the left. Eldridge. Big game. Move the sticks again.
And that's a big-time play for a high school quarterback. More times than not, they'll look for their primary target. Maybe they'll look for 2nd and 3rd. But Eldridge went through his progression. Nothing was there, and then had the wherewithal to turn what should have been incomplete into a 1st down by using his feet. So, again, that pocket presence, that awareness of what's going on is really what makes him a special quarterback on top of his other attributes that he has.
And how about this, Coach Patios? Eldridge has 2 rushes on this possession for 38 yards.
Yeah, and again, we don't think of him as a runner, but again, when the situation dictates that he has to run, he will.
Look to summon to Matthew Morrell here as the Centurions are on the 30-yard line of Western. Little stretch handoff to Tomas Ramirez. Tries to bounce outside, creates some space, cuts back. Nice run by Tomas.
Tomas covered about 70 yards, but only got about 8. But it might all be for naught because there's a couple flags down on the field.
Western had that well defended, but that was just Tomas wanting those extra yards and making it happen.
And it looks like it is going to go against Cypress.
Unfortunately, we have a hold against the Centurions, so all of that effort by Tomas is for naught. See Coach Adam Greenthal on the sideline, the offensive line coach. I'm sure he's not going to be too pleased with that. That'll be one of the things he will show his platoon, his O-line platoon at halftime on the telestrator.
Unless, of course, the receiver is holding, then that's on Coach Thompson. So those guys can figure that out during film. Speaking of shout-outs, how about Charlie Williams? Out of town this week.
Coach Williams, we miss you. It's not the same without you as a public address announcer. And I can tell you already, Coach Williams, people miss your barbecue.
I was just going to say, is the grill going? I usually can smell that thing up here.
You can't smell it. It's like there's something missing.
It's almost a good thing. That thing makes me so hungry.
That is another Cypress legend, Coach Charlie Williams.
But this guy's in Alabama?
I'm not sure where he went. He is a diehard Alabama Crimson Tide fan.
Oh, he's in Atlanta for the Alabama game. All right, a little road trip.
Watching the top. Coach Williams, that's for you. Roll Tide.
Yeah, that's right. And stage your eye. Any idea who Alabama has this week?
Alabama.
We can look at it half.
Game. Coach, Alabama is playing the U.
Oh, that's a good game. All right, he picked a good one to go to. Dole, you're a little conflicted on this one. Yeah.
I love my Hurricanes.
All right. Well, can they cover 18.5?
I think they might be a little mismatched with the Tide, though. Eldridge back to throw. Morrell over the middle. Looking down the sideline. Pass Tomas Ramirez. Tomas creating some more yardage. Tomas Ramirez, hard to tackle in that, Coach. Another nice game there for the Centurions. Ramirez picks up about 14.
And again, Eldridge looking downfield, had 3 receivers, nobody's open, hits the safety valve. Again, another good decision by the quarterback. He doesn't throw it away, he doesn't force something. Went through his progression, found the safety valve, and picked up some big yards after that penalty, which makes this a much more manageable 2nd down and 6.
Eldridge just looks so confident back there right now. Eldridge rolls right, looking to pass. Has Devin Cobb in the end zone. Oh! Looks like Cobb was open, but couldn't quite reel that pass in.
He put the ball right on the money on that corner route, and the receiver's got to make the play. But nice read, nice throw, and just an unfortunate drop by Cypress. But fortunately for Cypress, it's only 3rd down, so they have another opportunity to get a first.
And there is nobody who wants that back more than Devin Cobb. He's a great football player, a great person, and he always gives the maximum effort. That one just kind of got away from him, though. But he is resilient, and he'll have plenty more opportunities. The Cypress student section coming to life tonight. We got an orange out. It's great to see the spirit here. 3rd and 6. Eldridge rolls left, throws across his body. Monteleone goes down to catch it. The referee says it hit the ground first. Going to bring up 4th down and 6 for the Centurions. You bring out Miles Weber here for a field goal, Coach?
I'm going to go for it. If we can't make PATs consistently, I'm certainly not going to try to kick which would be about a 37, maybe a 42-yard field goal. And with the personnel you have, you're certainly not going to punt. You may as well just go for it. you're up 18, so even if you don't get it, I really don't see Western scoring with under a minute left going 70-something yards. So, no, the right call is to go for it, and that's exactly what Coach Feldman's going to do.
This is a very pivotal moment in this game because if the Centurions score here, this could effectively be a backbreaker.
Yeah, then you start warming up your second stringers and whatnot and getting them some opportunities to play.
4th and 6 from the Western 26. Cypress on the right hash. 2-by-2 formation. Eldridge takes the snap. Looking for Merle. Got it. Caught over the middle. Broken up nicely by Western.
You got lucky.
Oscar Howard, the strong safety, did an outstanding job coming over the top and breaking up the post pattern. Eldridge had his receiver briefly, but again, Oscar Howard,
broke nicely on
yeah,
that.
he recognized the play and made a great defensive stand there and gets Western the ball back. Now again, we only 58 seconds left, but Coach Davidson, he's aggressive. Don't be surprised to see him put the ball up because what do you do? Go into halftime down 18? You got to go for it.
You know, anytime you got talented receivers like Faulkner and Sutton, yeah, I mean, you can go for it. You got Mitchell as well who can make great plays.
There's one thing that's tough for Western. When you have low numbers, anytime you lose a player to injury or whatever the reason, and we don't know what the injury is, it really takes a toll on you because you're talking about a two-way player, and the depth chart gets that much tighter. And we mentioned this early in the game. It's stressful as a coach when you have a roster that's low, and then you start losing people.
Western player down on the field, but he's being assisted off by the Western training staff. Looks like that is Emmanuel Mata. We hope he's all right and all the best to him, and hopefully he's able to return this evening. You know, that's one of the great things about high school football. You see his teammate Alexander Sanchez Gomez on the field to help his buddy off, and you just got to love the camaraderie of football. So Western takes over on their own 26. 58 seconds remaining in the half. Cypress 25, Western 7. Oh my goodness. That was Neil Jansen again, Coach.
Yeah, and that's that middle screen that Western has run many times this year. They ran it earlier in the game for a big gainer. And you're right, Cypress defender read it, jumped it, just couldn't hang on to the ball because that very easily could have been a pick six for Cypress.
Neil Jansen diagnosing the Western offense very effectively tonight. Double stack formation for Western. They just run a simple draw play. Met by Nathan Schneider. No gain. Western will have a 3rd down and 10. Coach Feldman could use some timeouts here.
Yeah, with the clock running, it looks like he's content going into halftime up 18. I get the argument both ways, but you know, you're in control. You don't need to press anything. Let's see what he does here, though, after Western runs their play.
Schneider throwing blitz, backs up. Western letting the clock run down, 22, 21, 20. Schneider again showing the blitz. It looks like we have a timeout on the field.
No, it's a penalty. I think they're going to call him for offsides.
Stoppage due to the officials. Offsides, as Coach Pardio said, on the Centurions.
Snyder got just a little too aggressive. We always tell the players the ball's the trigger. You don't go on sound, you go on the movement of the ball.
3rd down and 6 for the Pioneers from their own 30-yard line. 9 seconds in the half. 8, 7. Luna takes a snap. And we have a stoppage on the field again as the referees whistle the play dead.
Boy, and Coach Feldman is heated on the sidelines. I don't know if there was a mismatch or the players were out of position, but they ran onto the field to get that timeout.
Hey, while we have a break here, Coach Padios, I'd like to give another shout out to our good friend Paul Lopez, the owner and proprietor of Pilo Brown Industries. If you need any banners, flags, shirts, signage done, he is your man. He is located at 6895 Oslo Circle, Unit F in Buena Park, California. You can reach him at 714-369-4273. He is the best in the business. He is a Cypress alumni, class of 90, and he is also one of the guys who runs the barbecue stand with Charlie Williams, and he makes a mean hamburger. So shout out to Paul Lopez, our good friend, and give Pilo Brown Industries your business. They are the best at what they do.
I've actually used those guys a couple times. They do a really good job. I was happy with the service, so I'll double that.
We're joined in the booth by some good friends, Sean Clark and Eric
We got some
O'Crolla.
royalty up here in the booth.
How you gentlemen doing this evening?
Here's a little trivia while we wait. Who is the last Kennedy head coach to beat Cypress in football?
The legendary Sean Clark.
Well, you're supposed to wait a couple seconds.
Got lucky.
Final play of the half. Western gets a little gainer of about 12, but it's all for naught as we come to the end of the first half. Cypress 25, Western 7.
a picture of us in the
You guys
booth.
get the sound up?
Yeah, we're getting it right now. This guy right now.
Dude, we were talking, and I see these people behind us, like, cell phones. Oh, they're like filming us. Yeah. That was funny. Oh, God. It'd be unbelievable.
So when did like everything start?
Yeah, hey.
All the cool movement.
Hey.
Angle, I like that zone. It's kind of cool angle. Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Burrito! What's up? Your grandfather. Congratulations, man.
In addition to that, you have a 4.5 GPA. So what are some of the colleges and universities that have been in contact with you that want you to play at the college level?
Yeah, for sure. I've been talking to a lot of Ivy schools, clearly, because they have high-level football and high-level schooling as well. Harvard, Cornell, Yale, Brown, all those schools. So it's been great talking to them and seeing how it goes throughout the recruiting process.
All of those are excellent schools, and they'd be all extremely fortunate to have you playing there. What do you want to study in college?
Right now, I'm looking at either economics or biology. I really like both of those subjects, and I think they can help out a lot in the future with future careers.
Excellent. What, any career aspirations?
Right now, I know I want to start businesses in the future. That's huge for me. I want to be able to, run my own business, be my own boss. That's always been a huge idea for me. And I'm interested in like the financial field and stuff like that. Maybe it's going out from college. That could be really good.
Excellent. So far in your high school career, what's been the best memory you've had of playing football?
There's been a lot of great memories. I'd say the one that really gets me the most is probably the game against, I think it was Valencia, freshman year, when they let me run the ball. It was like the last game. They let me. I think one was a kick return, and then the second was like a zone. It was like a zone left, but I ran zone right, and I ran the opposite way of the play. But it was really fun.
Maybe we should have a conversation with Coach.
Yeah,
get you some more carries at running back.
Maybe.
They can spread the ball out between Neil, Tomas, and you.
Yeah, for sure.
So, who is your favorite football player, and why do you admire them?
Right now, I'd say probably Quentin Nelson.
Okay.
He's a left guard right now, and he's just so talented. I love how he plays. He's a smart player, and I just love watching his films.
Smart and athletic guard, right? Can do a lot for his offense.
Yes, sir.
What's the overall message you'd like to say to your teammates this year?
Right now, I'd say, keep focused, boys. We had a great win last week, but we want to stay focused and see it through. It's a long season going ahead, and that's the greatest thing is just focus, complete focus.
So what person in life do you admire the most, and why do you admire them?
I'd probably say I admire my father the most. My dad, he's Nigerian. He grew up, across the world, and he fought his way through, struggled, and made it over here, and gave me an opportunity to live my life here in America. So I'm really proud of him.
That's awesome. That's a great story too. Very inspirational.
Sure.
So ultimately, who would you like to thank or give a shout out to for helping and supporting you?
Yeah, I'd say as far as with my football career, shout outs to Coach Feldman, of course, for helping me out with everything. Coach G, my offensive line coach, and shout out, definitely Coach and all the other coaches I've had. Really appreciate you guys for pushing me through and keeping helping me understand this whole football thing.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to work with such a gifted student athlete like you, George.
Thank you.
And I thank you for joining us this evening, and have a great senior year in football. And we wish you all the best always throughout life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, for the second half of the football game between the Cypress Centurions and the Western Pioneers. Well, we have a moment we'd like to give a quick shout-out to Bolton Orthodontics, located at 6081 Orange Avenue, unit number 1 in Cypress. Their phone number is 714-826-6770. Dr. Bolton and the Bolton family have been longtime supporters of Cypress High School. So any orthodontics work that you or your family need done, please give Dr. Bolton a call. He is the absolute best, and he will give you a great smile. Bolton Orthodontics, located on Orange Avenue in Cypress, right near the high school. Also, we'd like to mention one of our sponsors, Subs and Grubs, who's located at 5923 West Cerritos Avenue in Cypress. Best subs on the planet. The turkey bacon avocado is my personal favorite, Coach Patios. I highly suggest you go there and get one. Another great Cypress supporting family there at Subs and Grubs. You can give them a call and order ahead at 714-995-5800. Subs and Grubs, the best sub sandwiches on planet Earth, and they're located right at home in the city of Cypress.
Been going there for years. Love it.
So, Coach Patios, what are your key takeaways from the first half?
Well, you know, I got to give Western a lot of credit. They're playing hard. They've shown they've got some big players and some big playability. I just think the difference is Cypress is at a different level. Let's be honest. I think Cypress is in control of the game. Western is hanging around. It's only an 18-point ball game, so, you know, even though Cypress is in control, if Western can make some plays and get a touchdown, you know, we're talking about a 10-point ball game, 11-point ball game, and they're back in this. Again, Cypress just has to continue to stick to doing what they've been doing, but if Western can step up, make some plays, they could potentially make this interesting. But again, if you're Coach Feldman, I think you're feeling good about the first half. You're where you want to be. Cypress just has to finish.
Western definitely had some opportunities that might have gone by the wayside that first half. However, you got to give them a lot of credit. They played with a lot of heart and very spirited. And I look forward to a great second half as we get ready for the second half of action. Western's going to kick off to Cypress, who is leading 25-7.
No, quick shout out. I know this was the halftime interview with George. I hope I get this right. Ialome, is that
That's
correct?
Yeah, Big George.
The 6'3", 290-pound offensive lineman's got a 4.5 GPA, and essentially what that means is he gets straight A's in AP classes. Guys getting offers from Ivy League schools. That's pretty big time, and we like to recognize the players who are not only getting it done on the field, but off the field as well in the classroom. Not to be outdone by his counterpart over at Western, Fernando Zuniga, the senior 6'2", 265-pound tackle, another 4.0 student, a player Coach Davidson's very proud of. He leads by example, not only, again, on the field, but in the classroom. So anytime we can recognize these players, not just what they do on the field, but their academic abilities, that's something that we love to do, and I certainly love giving them a shout-out because they deserve it.
George Ialome and Fernando Zuniga, congratulations to both of these gentlemen, not only for being great athletes, but being great student athletes as well. And obviously, as seniors, we hope that they have a happy and successful senior year of football, and we wish them all the best in their life after high school, after they graduate this upcoming May. Back to the action here at Handel Stadium. Second half about to begin. Western on the field for the kickoff. Not quite a pooch kick, but about a medium kick. Blake Cusimano on the return, Coach.
All right, I like it. Getting Blake some return action. Okay.
Back deep, Blake Cusimano, the junior reserve quarterback, who's also the PAT holder, got what I believe is his first kickoff return, and he returned it for about 15 yards.
You know, getting back to Blake, again, I had an opportunity to coach him his freshman year, and he's surprisingly athletic. I mean, he doesn't look the part, but he'll surprise you. As a quarterback, he was very poised. He made plays when he had to, and I was really proud of him his freshman year. It'll be interesting to see how his future plays out here at Cypress because he's a good kid. He's got a lot of ability. Just got to get an opportunity to get on the field and show it off.
3-by-1 formation for the Centurions. Snap to Eldridge. Little give handoff to Tomas Ramirez and does not get much real estate at all. In fact, he loses 2 yards. Going to bring up a 2nd and 12 situation for the Centurions.
Be curious.
Their own 33-yard line.
Be curious to see if Coach Feldman tries to slow it down in the second half and start to get that clock running and make the clock a factor as well, or does he keep his foot on the pedal and keep attacking downfield? He's in a good position up 18. He can go either way, but I'll be curious to see how he handles the second half.
Again, 3-by-1 formation. Isolated sole receiver to our side is Matthew Morrell, number 3. Eldridge rolls left to pass. Looks like he wants Trevor Monteleone. He's got him. There is a flag on the field, however. If the play stands, it's going to be, a fumble. Looks like they just clean stripped Trevor Monteleone of the ball. Let's see what the flag on the field is for, though.
Well, when you talk about a big play that Western could use right there, it's all going to come down to the referee's call. But if that does stick, that's a huge turnover for Western and a great opportunity.
Trevor Monteleone, very sure-handed receiver. Referee's deciding what the call is.
And they're leaving the field. It looks like it is going to be a turnover.
Wow, that's a tremendous opportunity for Western. Deep in Cypress territory, they're going to take over 1st and 10 from the Cypress 34.
And again, Cypress up 18, have the ball in control, and just like that, a turnover gives Western a great opportunity on the 33-yard line going in. If they can convert this to a touchdown, it's going to get real interesting real quick.
That's just a great play by the Western defense. You got to give them credit for that. Anthony Luna in again at quarterback for the Pioneers. Shotgun formation, takes a snap, wants to throw, has a receiver down the sideline. Nicely defended by Devin Cobb. Going to bring up 2nd and 10.
That's the second time tonight Western had looked to me from up here that they were in motion before the ball was snapped, but again, the referee let it go. So the old adage, if they don't call it, I guess it didn't happen.
Western in a 3-by-1 formation. Little leak route there for the running back, creates some space. And that's going to be good for a pick of about 8 for the Pioneers. Once again, that's Sean Dean, who's been working very hard tonight for the Pioneers at the running back position. Created a lot of yards tonight for the Pioneers.
Well, he runs with a lot of leverage. He's low to the ground, but the key is for a running back is to keep those legs moving, because Cypress actually had some bodies on him in the backfield, but because he kept his legs moving, was able to turn a negative into a positive. So that's a great job by the running back, not giving up on the play.
Luna on the left hash has a stack formation to the right. Feels the heat, pressure, and there he is again, Rocco with the sack, coach.
Big Rocco Burdett, the sophomore, gets a huge sack on 3rd down. It's going to bring him a 4th down. And again, if you're Western, you've got to take advantage of the opportunity that the defense created. So I got to think Coach Davidson's going to go for it here. But again, nonetheless, great job by Rocco getting in there and sacking the quarterback.
Rocco Burdett is creating havoc all over this field for the Western Pioneers. Coach Crooks has a great weapon in him, and he's utilizing him tonight, that is for sure.
And it's one thing to be a sophomore and start on the team and play, but when you're a sophomore who's an impact player the way Rocco is, that really tells a lot about him, not only now, but the future he's going to have at Cypress.
Luna back to pass, going deep for the end zone, overthrows his intended receiver, Drew Faulkner. Just led him a little too much, going to bring up a turnover on downs. Cypress will take over at their own 34, headed towards the Handel Stadium scoreboard. 25-7, 9 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And that was a nice job by the Cypress defense stepping up. Western's defense created the opportunity to get their team back in the ball game, but Cypress answered the call, stepped up to the challenge. So now offense will go back to Cypress, and we'll see if they can do something with this drive, their second possession here of the second half.
Two-by-2 formation for the Centurions. Eldridge takes the snap, gives the ball. Nice little run up the middle by Tomas Ramirez. Getting some hard-earned yardage tonight for the Centurions. Looks like he's going to have a gain of about 7, bringing up 2nd and 3 for the Centurions.
And this is an opportunity for the Cypress offense to really, again, continue to work on that ground game, get those offensive linemen, pushing the Western defenders, see if you can establish that running game in between the tackles. It's so important to be able to run the ball. And when you have an 18-point lead in the second half, I can't think of a better time to do it.
Eldridge receives his instructions from Coach Feldman. Clock ticking, 8:49 in the third quarter remaining. Eldridge takes the snaps, fakes the handoff to Ramirez. Little slip screen to Matthew Morrell, and Western had that played well, as Morrell is not able to pick up any real estate for the Centenarians.
Well, that's an outstanding job by the cornerback for Western, not only recognizing the play, but stepping up and making the tackle in the backfield. You know, part of being a defender is not just your aggressiveness and your speed, but your ability to recognize the play and then jump the play to make it. So that was a great job by the cornerback, recognizing the screen and stepping up for his defense.
Brings up a 3rd down and 6 situation for Coach Feldman and the Centurions. Ball at their own 38-yard line. Eldridge in shotgun with Ramirez to his left. Ramirez stays in the block. Eldridge rolls left. Oh, once Monteleone had him wide open down the sideline, through to the under route, Morrell, and the ball just wasn't there.
Watch the feet. Watch the feet.
Boy, and Landon Lagorda, the cornerback, almost had the first interception of the year for Eldridge. Ball hit him in the hands, but he could not hang on, and Eldridge got away with one there, almost to his first pick of the season. But his perfect record for touchdowns and interceptions will stay intact for now.
Matthew Morrell on the field to punt for the Centurions for the first time this evening. Snap is away. Morrell, the left-footed punter, gets the punt away, takes the Centurion bounce. No Western player to field it. Going to roll and be downed at the Western 22, where they will take over 1st and 10 with 7:48 remaining in the third quarter. Cypress leading 25-7. Hey, well, we got a moment, Coach Patios. I'd like to say hi to our wonderful Cypress High School administration, led by Dr. Kevin Hodgson, the principal, Dr. Michelle Surface, one of our assistant principals, Mr. Sean Pfeiffer, who was at the game tonight we saw earlier, and Mrs. Mary Jo Durkin. We have a wonderful administration at Cypress. We thank you for all the support that you guys give us, and we hope that you have a well-deserved and restful 3-day holiday weekend. Cypress High School administration.
Where's TJ?
First down for Western. Apparently Western only had 10 on the field. And here comes the 11th player for Western. But on first down, they got no gain.
It's been tough enough for Western to score night with 11 players. You certainly don't want to run your offense with only 10 on the field, so they need to fix that real quick.
They're actually going to give Western a yard on the play, so 2nd down and 9. Snap is off. Quick little slant route. Completed once again to Drew Falker. Been saying his name a lot tonight. Very gifted and talented football player.
And again, if you're Western, I guess the frustrating thing would be you've made plays tonight, but they're just not able to finish drives. They have the one touchdown early in the game, but since then, they really haven't been able to take advantage of the opportunities they've been given. They've had big plays. They've gotten into scoring position. They've had turnovers for their defense, but it's all for naught when they're not able to finish the drive and get into the end zone.
3rd down and 3 situation. No such luck for Western, however. Cypress had that well defended. Coach Crooks dialed it up nicely, and this is going to force Western into another punting situation, as it's going to bring up a 4th down and about 4.
And boy, the looks of it, they're going to go for it, which is crazy on the 26-yard line, but
potentially a timeout count here, Coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Luna checks with Coach Davidson. And they snap the ball. They're going for it. Oh. Momentarily thought there might be a pass interference call to bail Western out. However, to no avail. Wow, that's Coach Davidson felt compelled to go for it there, and the Western defense is going to be kind of their backs to the wall now, Coach.
Well, if there's one thing you cannot accuse Coach Davidson of being, is conservative. He is an aggressive play caller. I mean, going for it on 4th down there on your own 27-yard line. But, you know, what are you going to do, punt it and give them the ball at midfield? I like the call. I get the thinking. It's not something you would normally do. But, again, you're the underdog. You're down 18. You've got to make a play. So what do you have to lose at that point? I don't have any problem with that call.
Cypress with a quick huddle. at the Western 28. Neil Jansen in motion. Eldridge gives him on the stretch. Picks up maybe a gain of 1.
You know, and interestingly enough, we had 32 points in the first half, and this third quarter, nobody scored yet. The clock's running, so I think Coach Feldman is fine with just putting Western in a situation where not only they're competing against the scoreboard, they're going to have to compete against the clock as well as this clock continues to run down in the third quarter.
Second down and 10 for the Centurions on the 29.5-yard line of Western. Eldridge takes a snap. Steps up in the pocket. Was under a bit of duress there. Had Monteleone momentarily open, but just kind of threw the ball away. Just led to play another down there. Going to bring up third down and 10.
Yeah, again, checked off his first receiver, wasn't open, and went to a second, and finally Trevor got open late, but at that point the box was collapsing, and Eldridge just had to get rid of it. Again, making a good decision. You don't necessarily have to complete the ball as a quarterback to be effective. If there's nothing there, you just throw it away, and that's essentially what Eldridge did.
And I think that's smart decision-making by Dylan, which leads part and parcel to what you were saying earlier. He hasn't thrown an interception yet this season.
You know, he's not the perfect quarterback, but again, he doesn't make bad decisions. He doesn't hurt his team, and that's what you want as your quarterback, to manage the game and not hurt your team. And that's one thing that I think he excels at more than any other quarterback I've seen in quite a while.
Eldridge back to throw. He's looking for Monteleone again. Intercepted. Oh, boy. Had Monteleone, and obviously Coach Patios.
I think I owe him an apology. I think I just jinxed him.
We were talking about that, so.
My bad, Dylan.
Nicely done by Western. You got to give their defense some credit. They hung in there and they were stout. They had their backs against the wall. You know, the series started on their own 28, so. You know, props to Western. Good job on their defense. They hung in there and they played stout and they got a turnover.
Well, in the second half, they're shutting down the offense for Cypress. They've shut them out at this point, but at some point, the offense is going to have to step up and make some plays if Western is going to get back in this ballgame. The defense has done their job. Now it's up to the offense.
Receiver in motion for Western is Michael Alatorre. Comes back over the middle. Nathan Schneider kind of blitzed off the edge there, and Anthony Luna had nowhere to go.
Nate Snyder coming off the edge, getting the sack. Of course, he had an opportunity to talk to his famous Cypress alumni uncle, Bobby Brito, at halftime. You talk about a stud back in the day.
The Brito family is one of the great Western / Cypress families. Of course, you and I both had the opportunity to coach Jake Brito, who was a great running back.
Yep.
As well as Bobby Brito Jr., who was a good wide receiver for us in our program.
In fact, he was coaching at Western for a while. Bobby, the younger one, I don't know if he's still here.
Luna to throw. Looks like his receiver was not on the same page as him. Got his head turned around kind of late. That was Anthony Alatorre, the intended receiver.
And it looks like they were trying to run a wheel route, but it wasn't really the best, cleanest run route, and the ball wasn't quite there. So, receivers and quarterbacks, they have to be on the same page if they're going to be effective throwing the ball.
I apologize. Michael Alatorre was the intended receiver. Brings up 3rd and 21 for the Pioneers. Luna to throw. Little in route by the far receiver. Not going to lead to much. It's going to bring up 4th down. And it looks like about 20. Obviously, the Western punting team is on the field now.
Yeah, 4th and 5 is one thing, but 4th and 21, I think Coach Davidson realizes he has to punt at this point.
3:31 remaining in the third quarter. Cypress leading 25-7. punts away for Western. Neil Jansen lets it bounce and rolls harmlessly where it will be downed at the Cypress 43. Hey, well, we got a moment here. I'd like to give a shout out to the Cypress High guidance counselors. Miss Carrie Vaughn, Mrs. Anita Gaston, Miss Mary Binford, Miss Erica Yee, Mrs. Simone Pickens, and Mr. Ozzie Hurtado. They do a wonderful job getting the kids' classes scheduled and preparing them for life after Cypress High School, getting them college and career ready. So thank you very much, Cypress High School guidance counselor staff. You do a wonderful job, and we appreciate you.
Of course, Carrie Vaughn was a Cypress alum, a tennis coach, varsity for many years, played college tennis at San Luis Obispo.
One of the greatest tennis players ever to grace the campus of Cypress High School. 2x2 formation for the Centurions. Jansen in motion, gets the stretch hand up. Western has him bottled up, but he's still on his feet and steps out of bounds. It's going to be for a loss of about 3. Nice job, Western. Well defended.
You know, Jansen was able to break a couple tackles, but the best tackler in the field and never misses. What is that, Coach? What's the best tackler on the field?
Sideline, Coach.
Sideline will never miss a tackle. It's the defense. If you can get that offensive player to go laterally instead of north-south, the sideline will be your best friend.
That is the invisible 12th man that every football team has. And as Coach Patio said, if you can utilize the sideline, that is your best tackler. Cypress from the right hash, closest to their sideline.
Yeah, much of it now. For the backer row.
Tight end in a bunch formation. We got Morrell in motion. Looks like a stretch to Morrell. Can he get outside? Oh! Hit hard by a Western defender. Falls forward, though, before going out of bounds. So it looks like Morrell was able to turn what looked like to be a busted play into a gain of about 4.
When you talk about a tough play by that cornerback, he came up and knew he was going to catch a load of momentum, and he still stuck his neck out there and made the play, but he jumped right off the field immediately, and I don't blame him. That's tough in those situations, but give him credit for having the physical ability to step up there and make that play.
You know, Matthew Morrell inherits a lot of his talent from his father, Eric, another Cypress legend. Coach Feldman's quarterback, actually, when they both played at Cypress High School.
For the legendary John Selby.
Eldridge checks the D, takes a snap. Ramirez stays in. Nice block by Ramirez to free up Eldridge to throw. Downfield deep, looking for Cobb. Ball tipped away by Western. Nice defensive play by Oscar Howard for the Pioneers. Going to bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Centurions. 2:05 remaining in the third quarter. Cypress 25, Western 7.
Oscar Howard's made a couple nice plays tonight as the strong safety has come up and supported the run. He's broken up some passes. Almost had an interception there. And again, give Western's defense a lot of credit. In the second half, they've shut down the Cypress offense. They've literally shut them out. And again, if Western wants to get back in this game, they've got to start making some plays on offense, because certainly the defense has done their part in the second half.
Got to be honest with you, Coach. The Western defense is called by Jeremy Davidson. You and I both coached him at Cypress.
We've had him and his brother.
Fake punt. Morrell runs right. He's got some room. And gets out of bounds. It's going to be good for the first down. Cypress into Western territory. Morrell out of bounds at the Western 43 after a gain of about 18 on a 4th down and 8-play fake punt. Morrell rolls right, sprints from the sideline, gets outside, and the Pioneers cannot stop him.
And that's the second time this year Cypress has run a fake punt with Morrell getting to the outside. You got to wonder if these coaches, when they scout Cypress, how you don't have an outside linebacker or defensive end in a wide setting who's just essentially going to mirror that punter, because that's twice now, and I have a feeling we're going to see that a couple more times before the season is over.
2 for 2 so far in the young season. Bunch right formation for the Centurions. Eldridge with the keep. Thinks about pitching it, keeps it himself. Gets tripped up, but it's going to be good for about a gain of 5. Eldridge, 3 carries, 43 yards. That's a great average.
Yeah, and that's the first time tonight we've kind of seen that option look where he was looking to pitch it, but the outside linebacker around at the back, so Eldridge did the right thing, kept the ball, and picked up positive yards for the Cypress offense.
Bringing up a 2nd down and 5 for the Centurions at the Pioneer 37. I think Coach Padios, we might be saying Matthew Morrell's name again here very soon. Western showing blitz. Pressure on Eldridge, has to sprint away. Breaks free the tackle, gets out of bounds. First down, Eldridge. Showing his footwork tonight.
Yeah, and that time Western rushed 6, so they had a free man off the edge, but Eldridge was able to avoid the sack, turn what would have been a sack into a positive gain. And again, we see his feet, we see his pocket presence, doing a nice job managing the offense on this drive. And again, that was a rush for a first down by Eldridge.
Eldridge staying on the field, getting the signals from quarterbacks coach Nick Burris.
Former quarterback and player here at Cypress.
One of our best quarterbacks ever. A two-way player, too. And you talk about a safety that could hit. Boy, Coach Burris was a hitter. Eldridge back to pass, looking deep. Throws over the middle. Oh, behind Cobb, who was wide open, right in the middle of the end zone.
Boy, Eldridge had a couple receivers wide open. It was almost one of those things where he had so many choices, it might have just stumped himself. But yeah, you're right. Cobb was wide open. That was an easy touchdown, and that'll be interesting to see on the films when the coaches review it what actually happened. But that should have been a touchdown for Cypress.
So we have a timeout on the field. Cypress, Coach Felton wants to talk over the 2nd and 10 second situation. Have 33 seconds left in the third quarter. Cypress 25, Western 7. Hey, two other people we definitely need to thank on the Cypress High School staff is our amazing athletic directors, Mr. Jeff Russell and Mr. Mark Slevkov. They do a great job orchestrating all the athletics at Cypress High School, and we appreciate you greatly. Thank you so much, Coach Russell and Coach Slevkov. Hope you have a restful and well-deserved 3-day weekend as well. Also like to give a shout out to the Cypress Police Department and our good friend Chief Mark Louderback, as well as our school resource officer at Cypress, Officer Angus Yu. Thank you so much for keeping Cypress High School and the streets of Cypress safe for everyone. We appreciate our police force. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Got some fireworks going off at the stadium, Coach.
Caught me off guard there. I got a little nervous for a second. I wasn't expecting that.
You can see in the distance, which is about 2 miles from here, however, there was a firework directly over the stadium.
Unless that thing was off target. Hey, how about a shout out to the best science teacher in the history of Cypress, Tomas Lundberg. And look at that, they're doing a fireworks show for him.
We got a fireworks show going on at the Western Cypress game here.
Of course, Mr. Lundberg, the varsity wrestling head coach, been wrestling for years. He's the also a science teacher. And he's in Minnesota right now listening to us.
He is probably the most beloved Cypress teacher there is. And he runs an incredible wrestling program. More fireworks. Eldridge is trying to get the snap off, and Eldridge is looking around like, what is going on? He gets the snap off. There's another one. Throws the ball wide open. Is Ramirez running down the sideline, trying to get in the end zone. And he steps out at the Western 10. And it looks like we've got a special guest on the sideline of the football game, our former principal, Dr. Ben Carpenter, who recently retired. Congratulations, Dr. Carpenter. It's good to see you at the game.
A lot of extra credit.
Boy, there's a blast from the past.
Dr.
And look, all my
Ben
Lexington
Carpenter.
Lions are coming up to booth. They want the extra credit. I told the kids if they came to the game and found me, I'd give them some extra credit. So
Joined by
yes,
some futures and terrains here.
I will hack into Aries and give you all A's.
9 seconds
They're
remaining
not
in the third
getting A's,
quarter.
don't worry.
Cypress on the 10-yard line of Western. Eldridge gets a playoff, so it's going to end the third quarter. Handoff to Ramirez. No gain. Going to be taken down at about the 9 of Western, which is going to bring up a second and goal to go. And we are officially done with the third quarter. Cypress 25, Western 7. Cypress High School has another new sponsor that we'd like to thank for their patronage. Yamaha Motor Corporation USA, located at 6555 Cattell Avenue, Cypress, California, 90630. They can be reached at 714-761-7300 or Yamaha-motor.com. Yamaha, the leader in creating a lifetime of exciting and memorable experiences. That's Yamaha Motor Corporation, USA. Thank you so much, Yamaha, for your sponsorship. All Centurions appreciate it.
Is that the big corporate office there on Catella? They got the big showroom and whatnot?
In fact, if you were to look over Coach Crook's backyard wall, you would see the Yamaha corporate office.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, that is right in close correspondence to where Coach Crooks resides. Also, while we have a moment, we need to give a big thank you to the Cypress High School Athletic Booster Club. They organize bingo and all sorts of other fundraising opportunities that brings in revenue for all the sports programs at Cypress High School. We could not do it without you, Cypress High School Booster Club. Thank you so much for all the work you do and all the support you give the student athletes and coaches at Cypress High School. Cypress High School Athletic Booster Club.
Well, Cypress here with the 2nd and goal is looking to put this game away officially. Down 18, Western can't afford a score of any kind, giving up a score of any kind. So here's an opportunity for Cypress to finally put this game away.
Flip the field as we begin the 4th quarter. Cypress at the 9-yard line, 1st and goal to go. Sorry, 2nd and goal to go.
Don't pedal. Don't pedal.
Eldridge with the snap. Pitches to Ramirez. Ramirez has a lane. Met by a host of Pioneers, but he's able to pick up about 5 yards on the play.
And Cypress edges closer to that goal line, but more importantly, to keep that clock running. So now Western, again, is going to have to fight the scoreboard as well as the clock.
Muhammad Husseini into the play at the game at tight end, whereas number 45, as Coach Padios alluded to earlier, great two-way player for the Centurions. Wreaks havoc as a linebacker and is becoming a very gifted and talented tight end as well. 3rd down goal to go for the Centurions from the 5-yard line of Western. Eldridge gets a play from Coach Feldman. Motion from Devin Cobb across the middle. Eldridge rolls to his right, has a receiver over the middle. If that's caught, that is spectacular, and it is. What a catch! Wow! Trevor Monteleone.
Yeah, Trevor ran a drag route, and Eldridge dropped back in the pocket. There was nobody open initially, but he bought some time by rolling out, was patient. Trevor finally got open coming across the middle. Eldridge saw it, and just like that, Cypress got another touchdown.
Absolutely spectacular for Monteleone. Makes the score 31-7. Cypress with 10:47 left in the ball game. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here. Eldridge back on the field.
Yeah, we might be seeing this the rest of the year, the way their kicking game's been going up until this point.
Look for Morrell in the one-on-one matchup, the jump ball to the corner of the end zone. Jansen in motion, fake give to him, slant pass, and caught by Monteleone again. Monteleone, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
And a penalty after. I think Monteleone got a little too cute with his antics. We'll see what happens, but they ran the 2-point play there. That's the exact play they ran last week against San Juan Hills to win the game. They put a receiver in motion, play action, and then you're going to throw a slant on the backside. The only difference was this time it was to Monteleone and not Morrell.
Very effective. 10:47 remaining in the game. 33, Cypress, Western 7. Special thank you to the Cypress High School PTSA as well. They do a lot of great things for the school and support the students and the teachers and the administration. So we just want to give you a big thank you, Cypress High School PTSA. Thanks for all the great work you do and all the support you give us.
You know, one of the nice positions Coach Feldman in right now, as you think about the first 2 weeks, those are both games that came down to the very end. But now Cypress being up 26 points with only 2 minutes to go in the game, it's an opportunity to get some guys in that normally don't play. Remember, these are guys who work just as hard at practice. They're lifting weights too, so it's nice when they get a chance to get in the game under the lights Friday night. So Be interesting to see who gets in. Maybe we see a little Cusimano. Maybe we see a little Jesse Maldin. There's a lot of guys that come to mind. We'll see what happens in the final few minutes here of this fourth quarter.
You know, you got Nate Scott, you got Dylan Gallipo, Michael Gillespie. You got some good reserves on that Cypress sideline.
Even the lineman, too, Fonseca, who is an outstanding freshman offensive lineman. Hayden Frazier, although I believe he's playing anyway. But, yeah, there's some guys that I'd like to see get some reps.
I believe Michael Hunter was able to suit up tonight. Yeah, it'd be nice to see what Cusimano could do there, quarterback, get a couple throws, or even Elliot Lemonnier.
Yeah, another solid quarterback, another undefeated freshman. Again, he only got to play 5 games, but he does have a tie for winning percentage with Monteleone. With Blake.
Kickoff return by Western's Drew Faulkner. Takes it out to about the Western 23, it looks like, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Pioneers with 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the ballgame.
Looking for ahead for Cypress. They're going to have a bye next week before taking on Catella here at Handel Stadium in 2 weeks. It'll be a Thursday night game, so stay tuned for that. Then they wrap up non-league play at Capo Valley before getting into league. So Cypress will get a well-deserved break here next week. Then Thursday night they'll be home against Catella, and then they're heading down to South County, our old neck of the woods, Capo Valley, to take on the mighty Cougars.
That's you and I have a vested interest in that game as your enemy's enemy.
Well, Capo cost me a league championship my senior year, so there's no love lost there.
I graduated Mission Viejo, UL Toro, so we have a mutual dislike for Capo, I guess you'd say.
I think that's a fair way to say it.
Western on the field. Luna running the offense. Motion across the middle. Fakes a give to Sean Dean. Almost thought about giving the ball to Michael Alatorre on the zip motion, but did not. Cypress had that pretty well balled up, and it's going to be a loss of 4 for the Pioneers, bringing up a 2nd and 14.
And again, Rocco Burdett on the inside playing. It looks like they move him out to defensive end, but again, another tackle. And I'll tell you what, as a sophomore, to be as effective as he is, he's only going to improve as he becomes a junior and senior. I'm looking forward to watching him progress.
Future looks bright. Ooh, slant right there. That could have been something big if Luna was able to connect with Mitchell, but he just kind of overthrew him on the slant.
And Mitchell's their most physical player, without a doubt. He's a tight end. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. So if you're not going to get the ball to Faulkner, I guess Mitchell would be your second choice just because of his size. He's got that long reach. Unfortunately, that particular pass is just a little too far out of his reach.
3rd down, 14 for the Pioneers at their own 45-yard line. Motion with Drew Faulkner going over the middle. Batted away by Nathan Schneider.
We were talking a lot about Rocco tonight, but Schneider's been just as effective on defense. Blitzing, coming off the edge, recognizing plays. He's had another great night and really stepping up as a leader and leading by example.
Schneider's one of those high-energy guys. You know who he reminds me of, Coach Patios, Centurion from the past? Reminds me of Marcus Maldonado. Remember him? Yeah,
remember. He was a 44 guy. We really haven't talked about the 44 tradition, but he was one of our 44 linebackers. And, I would agree with that comparison.
Marcus, one of the smartest Centurions ever, went on to UC San Diego, and I believe he's a medical doctor now.
Wouldn't surprise me. I remember him being a really smart kid and a good guy.
4th and 14 for the Pioneers. They're forced to go for it. Slant over the middle. Oh, nice tackle to save the first down. That was Trevor Monteleone. And he prevents Western from getting the first down. Loses his helmet in the process. He's going to have to come out for a play. Won't be in their receiver this next play, but Cypress will take over on downs.
Well, and that's going to be frustrating for Western. You got 4th and 14, and they only pick up 13 yards. It's a great throw, great catch, but Monteleone came up, made the play just shy of the first down, and again, showing his aggressive style. He's not just a speed guy. He can hitch, and I remember as a freshman, he was our running back, and he was a physical running back, so put him at strong safety makes a lot of sense, and he can definitely support not only the pass but the run as well.
Trevor is perhaps the hardest hitter on this team. I mean, last year for sure was Corey Anesi, and he graduated. But I think Trevor Monteleone's kind of taken that mantra.
And you think about it, he's coming back next year. Schneider's coming back. Rocco. They got a lot of players coming back. So this Cypress team is their future's in good hands.
Middle of the field, 3-by-1 formation for Eldridge. Little draw play to Ramirez up the middle. Going to be good for a gain of about 3. Clock ticking, 9:33 remaining in the ballgame.
And Coach Feldman, Cypress is in no rush. They're going to bleed that clock as much as they can and try to snap the ball with under 5 seconds to go on the play clock.
Not sure how much more passing you'll see either.
At this point, there's no need. I would run the ball. I'd get some other backups in, but
yeah, Nate Scott was just in the game momentarily for the Centurions at wide receiver. Trevor Monteleone back in. 3-by-1 set. This is a throwing set, but let's see if he doesn't give it to Ramirez in the backfield. Looking for Monteleone. Has Monteleone. Trevor's going to fight his way for a first down. Trevor Monteleone again showing his toughness. Moves the sticks because of the effort he just made.
And it's nice as a quarterback to have multiple weapons on offense. I mean, we've talked about Morell and the things he can do, but having somebody like Trevor Monteleone, you got Jesse Maldine, Josh Middleton. I mean, there's a lot of players and there's a lot of options. And as a quarterback, to have the trust and confidence on those receivers, you know, Eldridge can go anywhere at any time and feel good about the fact that his player's going to step up and make a play for him.
Yeah, Maldine's going to be a great ball player. 3-by-1 set for the Centurions. Again in the tight formation. Eldridge takes the snaps, gives to Ramirez, tries to stretch it outside, bounces to the hash mark, and has enough for another Centurion first down.
You know, and this is that point in the game. If you're Western, you're down 26. It's all but over, and you know you're trying your hardest, but it's just the wear and tear. Remember, these guys are two-way players. When you got to play every rep on offense, every rep on defense, you're down 26. You give them credit; they're still trying and they're still fighting. But you can just see by their body language, they've been in a 4-quarter fight and they're starting to show it. But I give them a lot of respect for battling for 4 quarters against a very good Cypress football team.
And as you talked about earlier in the broadcast, Kennedy is, you know, a big rival for Cypress as a specific. But I love the Western Cypress rivalry as well. It's fun.
I know. I got that.
Eldridge with a nice little inside give to Ramirez, who turns it up the middle. He's got real estate. He has a chance to score. One man to beat. High steps. Tomas Ramirez into the end zone. Touchdown, Cypress.
And now you can officially start clearing the benches.
7:29 remaining in the ballgame. Cypress 39, Western 7. Miles Weber onto the field for the extra point attempt. Blake Cusimano is the holder. The Cypress faithful is starting to get loud now as they can sense victory is close. The snap is good. Kick is up. Point after attempt is good for Miles Weber. Cypress 40, Western 7, 7:29 left in the ballgame. Hey, we'd like to thank our producer and director, Mr. Dean Delgado, who makes all of this possible, this broadcast, and the team he assembles. We have a great crew with us tonight here. We have Aiden Kuchocho, Baha Ahmed, Evan Huckabee, Frankie Ruiz, Jared Reyes, Ryan Nakamura, and Sean Agenius. Thank you, gentlemen. You've done a great job tonight. Thank you for making this game possible for all the Cypress fans out there. Couldn't have done it without you.
Well, they
Best
got
production crew and camera crew in the world. Thank you, gentlemen.
They got here a couple hours early, set this all up. I mean, it was coming down to the kickoff. We weren't sure if this was going to work, and we were trying to unplug things, plug things in, and hitting switches, and these guys got it done, so give them credit. But that was, we were coming that down to the final wire.
We talk about football players with a bright future. This production and camera crew has a bright future as well.
And what's Dean's official title? I always called him the computer guy, but what is he now? They promoted him production?
All things computer, and he is the media broadcast teacher.
See, the IT guy?
He does it all. He's amazing.
But he's nice. Usually those IT guys at companies are weird, and he's far from it.
And Dean is expert in all things, all
things digital.
Oh, I have a little late flag after the kickoff. I think we got a little extracurricular activity on the sideline. You see tempers flare a little bit. You're down 40-7. It's frustrating. But everybody just wants to get through this game healthy. See what the refs call here.
Well, getting back to your whole rivalry thing earlier, I like it when local teams play. I understand why coaches are leery of that, but, going to Capo, going to San Juan Hills and all that is fine, but you don't see those kids on the weekends. You didn't grow up with them. These guys grew up together. They know one another, so it makes it fun. I was promoting this game all week at Lexington Junior High, and my students are saying, I've got friends on both teams. So these are the kind of games kids want to see. And even if it is a quote-unquote mismatch, that's okay because it brings more fans out. It gets more people in the local community involved. I think it's a great thing, and I give Coach Davidson a lot of credit knowing that he was going to come in this game as a solid underdog, but was still willing to take the game, play it, and allowing the community to enjoy something like this. It's give him a lot of respect and credit for that because it's much nicer to play against opponents that are in your backyard as opposed to driving all over the county. And I understand why that happens, scheduling and all that, but it's great to see local teams get together and play.
Yeah, I think you're right. These community games also build up the rivalry, and this is what makes kids want to go to these high schools. I
mean, look at what Cypress and Pacifica has come in recent years. That's another local game that's gotten pretty contentious.
Fierce, intense rivalry.
Boy, speaking of fierce, linebacker from Cypress came up and laid a hit on the running back. Didn't quite catch the number, but both teams still playing hard, still bringing it.
Cypress still has the first team D out there. Looks like we got some other players getting in the game, though. Oh, we have a flag. And that's probably going to be a rough in the quarterback call.
Not sure about that. He came in clean off the blitz, and again, we got new numbers in there, so it's hard to see from up here, but that's going to go against Cypress, but I thought that was a clean hit.
You got these gentlemen who get into the game late, and they want to make an impact on the game. And
yeah, they're on the sideline all night. They're cold. They finally get up here and get in. I'd be fired up, too.
So you got to understand where they're coming from, but sometimes just put a little too much in the gas pedal there. Hey, who else we need to thank Coach Patios is Coach Adam Wilk.
The baseball phenom.
Baseball phenom. Wilkie's Corner. Great place where a lot of the coaches assemble and prepare for the games and have some food. And thank you for hosting at Wilkie's Corner again, Coach Adam Wilk, baseball phenomenon, and great teacher and coach at Cypress High School. Ref winds the clock. 6:44 to go. Little quick out route for Western. Ball incomplete.
I know this is frustrating for Coach Davidson and his staff, and I know this isn't the result he wanted, but you look at the job he's done. Just the last 3 years, 2018 CIF champions, although ironically they didn't win league that year, much like when Cypress won CIF. I think we finished third that year. 2019 league champs. 2020 league champs. So the last 3 seasons, he's had championship teams. He's got this team in the right direction. He's got them where he's got them where he wants them to be. Again, tonight wasn't the result he wanted, but they're doing a heck of a job, and you got to give him props for the job he's done since taking over here at Western.
And those in the know will tell you that they are the prohibitive favorite to win the Orange League again this year.
Yeah, when the competition gets more consistent with, the type of kids they have, they'll have an opportunity to excel. And you're right. I think they'll not only contend for the Orange Championship, they're definitely going to be the favorite. And we'll see what happens in CIF. Thankfully, the playoffs are back this year. So Coach Davidson will have another opportunity to get a second CIF championship.
CIF adopting a new policy this year where they actually seed teams division-wise after the season. I believe they got that idea from the San Diego section. So it's going to be interesting to see where both these teams end up in CIF this year. Widespread 3-by-1 set for the Pioneers. Luna takes the snap, throws a jump ball, intended receiver is Drew Faulkner again. However, he threw Drew Faulkner onto the track. Good coverage there by Devin Cobb, who's done a pretty good job with Faulkner tonight. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, Faulkner's their number one guy. They've double-teamed him a little bit, but you're right, Cobb's had a lot of one-on-one situations, and every time they've gone to Faulkner, which is the matchup they want, the one-on-one, Cobb has stepped up. So give him a lot of a lot of props for playing an outstanding ball game tonight against a very good wide receiver.
Bunch set for Western. Over the middle, thrown slightly high, going to be incomplete, going to bring up a 4th down, and I think Coach Davidson's obviously going for it here.
You look at the other side of the field, there's a shot of Coach Feldman. Of course, he's going to win his 49th game tonight. He is the all-time leader in wins at Cypress High School.
Just keeps adding to that record.
Yeah, and he's got a tie with years coach with Coach Crabb and Coach Selby. So if he can last one more year, he'll be the all-time leader in terms of years coach. Again, he's already got the record for wins going to 49. So I guess in 2 weeks against Catella, he's going for the big 5-0.
Slant route complete to the 5-yard line of Cypress for Western. Nicely thrown ball by Luna. Looks like the receiver on the reception was Michael Alatorre. Nice catch. Not enough yardage, though, for a 1st down, and they did not quite hit Pater in the end zone, so they will turn the ball over on downs. 1st and 10, Cypress from their own 5-yard line. 6:22 remaining in the ball game.
You know, we talked about the success Coach Davidson's had the last couple of years. You take a look at Cypress, 2019 13-1 CIF champions. Last year, they're 4-1 league champions. This year, they're off to a good start. They upset the number 7 ranked team in the county, San Juan Hills. So again, a lot of good things happening for both these schools. And in both these schools, their futures look pretty bright.
Looks like Kuzmano's in the game at quarterback. Little read play out of his own end zone. Ball carrier for the Centurions was Memphis Stover into the game for the first time. Memphis Stover for the Centurions.
Memphis, there we go. Blake, you got to pull that, buddy. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to get. Pull that and go.
Kuzmano sprints to the sideline, gets the play from Coach Feldman. Nate Scott is the isolated receiver to our side. Kuzmano takes a snap, again gives to Memphis Stover. Memphis has a nice little gap, goes up the seam for a 1st down. Good job, Memphis.
Okay, Blake's got a little drive going here. Can he lead his team down for a score? He's got about 5.5 minutes to go. $14, is that Lemonier?
14 is Elliot Lemonier.
Okay, so now they're going to platoon the quarterbacks, and let's see what Elliot can do.
Elliot Lemonier into the game for the Centurions, takes a snap. Again, give to Memphis Stover, who rumbles, bumbles, stumbles for about 5 yards. Lemonier back to the sideline.
Of course, Lemonier and Cusimano combined for a perfect 15-0 record as freshman quarterbacks. So you're looking at the only 2 quarterbacks in the history of Cypress freshman football to have undefeated seasons.
Another one of your star freshman players in the game, Cameron Smalls, checks in for the Centurions. 4:53 in the ball game remaining. Elliot Lemonier at quarterback for the Centurions takes a snap. Little inside give. You know, Memphis is running hard.
Well, he's definitely well rested, so he's got fresh legs, and when you get that opportunity, the adrenaline's flowing, and he's running hard. And I'll tell you what, this is also an opportunity to show your coaches something. I mean, look, Cypress has depth at running back, but when you get your opportunity to play under the lights and you step up like that, the coaches have to wonder, hey, can we get him in on some real live action when it really matters?
I don't know if it's quite an early audition yet, but obviously Eldridge is graduating, so Lemonier and Kuzman are going to compete for quarterback next year.
Yeah, that'll be a really good competition. Very different quarterbacks, but both very good nonetheless.
Another little draw play for the Centurions. No gain at all. I think Coach Feldman is content to get some guys some playing time here and just kind of run the clock out, and I think Coach Davidson is fine with that as well.
Look, you got the win wrapped up. All you want to do is stay healthy at this point, run that clock out, get your win, enjoy your week off, and then start getting ready for Catella.
Jake Porternuev in the game for the Centurions. Jake, the younger brother of another Centurion grade who graduated in 2019, Luke Porternuev, who is now playing at Chapman University.
Who was on uniform? Who was it?
Kuzamano out of the shotgun. Takes a snap. He's going to throw. Sprints left. The left-handed quarterback almost dragged down from behind. Gets a couple of yards, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a third down situation for the Centurions.
Blake fighting for every yard. I love it. Scrambling around, trying to make something out of nothing. But more importantly, he stayed in bounds, which allowed the clock to continue to run.
Josh Middleton into the game for the Centurions as well. The Centurion O-line getting some well-deserved rest on the sideline and cheering on their teammates. Kuzamano at quarterback. Back to throw, looking for Nate Scott. Nice pickup block by Memphis Stover. However, Kuzamano just ran out of time.
It looks like there's a flag on the play, so the clock will stop.
2:39 left in the game. Cypress 40, Western 7. Looks like we're going to have a hold on Cypress. Mateo Palmerian into the game for the Centurions. Good to see him getting some playing time.
And moving ahead for Western, of course, after this game, they'll take on Esperanza, then Artesia, before getting into Orange League play. So they'll have a couple more games to work on the things they need to get better at, iron out all those wrinkles. And again, Coach Davidson will look to win his third straight Orange League title as Cypress is looking to win their third straight Empire League championship.
Yeah, regardless of the score tonight, I still like Western's chances of winning the Orange League again. I think they got a great team. They're well coached. They got some really good athletes, and I think they're going to have a great season.
Well, Coach Davidson, talking to him earlier this week, he said they're young. They've got a sophomore quarterback, and then that great CIF championship team they had, they all graduated last year, so it's a young team. This is part of the growing process. He's one of the cheerleaders to get hits with the football that went out of bounds. But they're going to improve. They got a good staff. He's doing things the right way. I know he has them in study hall every day. He's checking their grades, and he's holding them accountable. So, again, not the outcome they wanted tonight, but this is part of the growing process, and there's no reason to think that they're not going to have a good, solid future here.
Yeah, and as we alluded to before, we know a lot of their staff. Coach Carlos Lopez is their running backs coach. He coached with us at Cypress for 3 years, and he is now at Western. He's doing a good job working with the running backs of Western. As you can see, how hard Sean Dean's running tonight, and you got to tip your hat to Western. They came to play, and they hung in, and they didn't quit, and they're still balling right now. A little frustration on the part of Anthony Luna. He's going for Drew Faulkner's favorite receiver there, overthrew him a little bit. But I think at this point of the game with 1:17 left, both teams just want to get out of here healthy.
And head on over to Coach's Corner to get some burgers, dogs, some chicken wings. I don't know about you, but I'm starving. I'm ready to head on over and
love Coach's Corner.
Hang out with Coach Thompson and maybe watch a replay of the game and talk about what we got going on this weekend.
I'm going to ask Coach Valdez to make me some food as soon as we get there.
Actually, why don't you text Kai? He just got promoted to assistant
Kai
chef.
Kozai, our old friend Kai Kozai, another great Cypress alumni.
He makes some mean pizza over there now, and now he's the assistant sous chef. We'll see if he can work his mac and in the kitchen the way he worked in the arcade when he was the ticket guy.
I believe they have the broadcast going on right now at Coach's Corner, so big shout out to Kai Kozai. How you doing, Kai? Complete pass over the middle for Western. Looks like Jumani Smith with the reception and picks up some yardage for the Pioneers. Pioneers starting to score again as they move the ball to the Cypress 10. Looks like it's going to be first and goal to go. This clock ticks away, 37 seconds remaining in the ball game. Western going to run one more play here in an attempt to score.
You'd like to get a score if you're Western in the game, but they don't seem to be in any hurry with the clock running.
You know the Cypress defenders in here want to keep them out of the end zone. Snap off to Luna, slant route, incomplete. He was looking for Drew Faulkner once again, but Faulkner wasn't able to reel that in. Looks like Cameron Smalls is the defender on that play. Nice job, Smalls. 14 seconds remaining in the ballgame. The incompleted pass stops the clock.
Do we have a scouting point at Catella yet? I know they won CIF a couple years ago. I made it, if I'm not mistaken, the state championship game.
They did. I believe Coach Doyle attended their game last night and has some film on them already, so you and I can get to work on that.
Yep.
Little fade route to the corner of the end zone, overthrown. Take us down to 10 seconds remaining in the ballgame. Going to be 3rd and goal to go for the Pioneers.
Of course, don't forget, that's going to be in 2 weeks, and it's actually be on a Thursday night here at Western Stadium. Cypress shares the field with Western, Kennedy, Magnolia, maybe one other school, so it's not that uncommon for these local teams to have to play on a Thursday or Saturday just because so many different teams share the stadium. So that'll be a Thursday night against Catella.
That's correct. Our next broadcast will be Thursday, September 16th, 7 p.m. as your Cypress Centurions host the visiting Catella Knights in another Anaheim Union High School District battle of two good football teams. 6 seconds remaining. 4th and 10 for the Pioneers. 4th and goal, that is. Either Western scores or Cypress gets the ball and takes a knee. Touchdown, Western. Completed to Faulkner. Going to take the score to 40-13 with 3 seconds remaining in the ballgame. So we'll have a PAT attempt, then a kickoff, and then we'll wrap it all up and call it a day. Again, thank you very much to our production staff and our filming crew, our Cypress athletic directors and administration and guidance counselors, and all the fans here tonight. The Cypress cheer and song squads did a wonderful job. Cypress ASB for promoting the school spirit. We had an orange out tonight. It was wonderful. And things are looking good at Cypress High School.
If you're a fan of Cypress Sports, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to the CTV channel. Go ahead and like the status. That helps the algorithms. Coach Delgado broadcasts football, wrestling, basketball, baseball, all the sports, soccer, boys and girls. And so it's an opportunity to watch Cypress Sports. If you're not able to attend the game, you can be anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection. So don't forget to subscribe, and you can stay in touch with all the activities that are going on at Cypress. And
speaking of great things at Cypress, did you hear what happened the other day? Coach Alex Griffiths?
No.
Cypress girls volleyball beat Los Alamitos 3-0, 3 straight games.
Good for them.
Great program victory for Coach Griffiths and the ladies.
And if I'm not mistaken, she was a Griffin as a high school player, right? She played volleyball at Los Al.
It's got to be extra special. And if you know anything about Los Alamitos volleyball, they're typically in D1 finals.
Yeah, they're ringers.
Powerhouses like Miracosta of Manhattan Beach and Redondo Union up in Redondo Beach. So for Cypress to take them out, that's a huge program win. It just shows you the direction that the Cypress girls volleyball program is going.
Well, she's done a great job. She led the team to a CIF championship a couple years ago. Of course, Coach Heather Diller a few years back also won a CIF championship.
Heather Dillard, another Cypress legend who ended up playing college ball at the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yeah, and led her team to a CIF championship.
Little pooch kick by Western, fair caught by, looks like Matthew Morrell. How appropriate. 2 seconds left. Blake Kuzman will come out and take a knee.
Now, if you're Blake, do you audible to a deep pattern and guarantee that you'll never play again?
Looks like the clock actually expired on the kickoff, so that's going to be a wrap for this evening. Thank you very much for joining Coach Padios and I. Our next broadcast will be Thursday, September 16th, 7 p.m. at Handel Stadium. Any last words, Coach Padios?
No, just a great win for Cypress. It's their second win of the season. They're on a little bit of a winning streak. I thought they played well on offense and defense tonight. A good win against a local rival, against a solid Western team, and it seems like they got that momentum back after that heartbreaking first week loss, and so we'll see if they can carry this momentum into the rest of the season.
Great win for the Centurions. Your final score from Handel Stadium on the campus of Western High School in beautiful Anaheim, California is the Cypress Centurions 40, the Western Pioneers 13. We'll see you again for our next broadcast Thursday, September 16th, 2021 at 7 p.m. as your Cypress Centurions host the visiting Catella Knights. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night and have a great weekend.